Welcome to Mythic Manhwa Recaps, where today we begin the saga of a fallen gladiator reborn in the body of a high school outcast. We're witnessing the rise of a predator who has traded his fatal weakness for a fortress of iron. If you're ready to see a bullied student dismantle an entire hierarchy of violence, you're in the right place. 134. 135. In the filth of a narrow alley, a boy tries to defy gravity. Mugyeol Cha pushes his heavy frame up and down, counting his repetitions in the dark. Alone. But solitude is a luxury the weak aren't afforded. Two shadows stand over him. Phones out. Recording. They don't see a human being. They see a grotesque pile of flesh twitching in the dirt. They laugh, zooming in on the rolls of fat, turning his struggle into entertainment. The mockery escalates. Words aren't enough. They dump a bucket of rotting food waste over his head, drowning him with filth. He's it. He hesitates. So the violence becomes physical. A kick sends him sprawling. Blows rain down. He curls into a ball, shielding his head. But the beating doesn't stop until he is left broken on the pavement. Tears mix with the mud on his face. He stares into a shard of a broken mirror, looking at his swollen reflection. Deep in the depths of that despair, a spark flickers. A desperate, delusional vow that one day, this boy will dominate the world. His body fails him, collapsing under the strain of abuse. Consciousness fades. But then, an anomaly occurs. The darkness of his mind is breached. A second soul enters the vessel. His invading consciousness belongs to a man who lived and died in the cage. A professional mixed martial arts fighter. Flashbacks bleed into the present. The roar of the arena. The blinding lights. The fighter was a striker of immense skill, speed, technique, championship material. But he carried a fatal curse. A glass jaw. No matter how perfect his offense, a single clean hit to the chin meant lights out. That weakness defined his career. And ultimately, it ended his life. Now, that fighter wakes up in a classroom. Mugyeol Cha opens his eyes. He is disoriented. The memories are split in two. The bullied student. The fallen gladiator. He realizes the truth immediately. Reincarnation. Two souls merged into one entity. A veteran killer residing in the body of a high school outcast. The peace is short-lived. The predators from the alley approach his desk, comfortable in their cruelty. One of them pokes Mugyeol's cheek, mocking his silence. They expect the flinch. They expect the fear. When Mugyeol doesn't react, the bully escalates. He winds up a kick and drives it straight into Mugyeol's face. The impact echoes through the room. But the result is unnatural. Mugyeol remains seated. He doesn't fall. He doesn't scream. He just blinks, confused by the absence of pain. He looks at his own hands. The blow felt like nothing. The layers of fat that the student despised. They have acted as dense, shock-absorbing armor. The bully is visibly unsettled. His victim has not played the assigned role. He shouts, demanding Mugyeol follow them to the cafeteria. Desperate to reassert control, they walk through the lockers. Mugyeol halts. The two bullies turn back, annoyed. Mugyeol speaks. His voice is different. He invites them to strike him again. The bullies exchange glances. They suspect madness. A twisted smile spreads across Mugyeol's face. It isn't the smile of a victim. It's the smile of a man who has just realized he's been given a weapon. The bully steps forward, eager to punish this insolence. He throws a full-force punch, targeting the face. The fist connects cleanly with Mugyeol's cheek. In his past life, this impact meant instant unconsciousness. The glass jaw was his ruin. But the head barely moves. The force disperses harmlessly through the heavy flesh. A blue interface materializes in the air, visible only to Mugyeol. It displays a single, game-changing statistic. Durability rank. Triples. The fatal weakness is gone. The glass jaw has been replaced by an iron fortress. The bully trembles. His hand ages from the impact. He looks into Mugyeol's eyes and sees a terrifying shift. The outcast is dead. Something predatory has taken his place. Mugyeol asks a simple question. Do you enjoy eating hard food? Before the bully can process the threat, Mugyeol clarifies. It will be difficult to chew without teeth. The system chimes again. A new window appears. A fight mission. The objective. Collect 30 pieces of a misbehaved student's teeth. The reward. 20 points. Mugyeol accepts the terms. He clenches his fist. I might leave a few behind, he says. But the harvest begins now. His fist crashes into the bully's face. Blood sprays. 2 teeth fly into the air. The counter on the screen updates. 2 out of 30. Mugyeol Cha stands over his tormentor. Eyes burning with violent ambition. The boy is dead. The champion has returned. And he is ready to devour the world. The cage is a liar. They say it's a sport. That there are rules. But inside the octagon, violence is the only currency. And today, the exchange rate is death. A heavy blow connects. Consciousness rattles like a loose screw. The crowd roars. Not for him. They cheer for the elbow that sends him crashing to the canvas. The referee waves his arms. It's over. But the defeat was scripted. Long before the first punch was thrown. Steroids. Backroom deals. A sacrificial lamb offered up to protect a predator's reputation. The hospital room is sterile. Silent. The broken fighter lies motionless. Chairman Jin Yonggil walks in. He does not bring flowers. He brings the suffocating weight of reality. He leans in, his smile sharp enough to cut glass. He thanks the paralyzed man. The fighter's ruin is the chairman's stepping stone. The news cycle spins. Yang is hailed as a saint. A guardian angel taking responsibility for a fallen athlete. The world praises the architect of the destruction. And the victim. Trapped. A cervical spine injury. Permanent paralysis. He is a statue made of meat. He can only move his eyes. He watches the world move on without him. Inside, a hatred burns hot enough to melt the bed frame. He is a lie. But he is not living. Then, the darkness snaps. The ceiling tiles change. The smell of antiseptic vanishes, replaced by chalk dust and sweat. He blinks. He is sitting at a desk. Air fills his lungs. His fingers twitch. The sensation of movement returns like a flood. This is not a hallucination. He is back. A blue light manifests before his eyes. A holographic interface. A status window. It lists his attributes. Strength. Speed. Agility. They are average. But one statistic stands out. It glows with an impossible potential. Endurance. Rank triples. In his past life, he was a glass cannon. Brilliant technique. Fragile body. But this new vessel is built to endure hell. He realizes the truth. His previous life was merely a tutorial. This body is the weapon he was missing. He has a target. Chairman Jiang. To reach him, he must climb the mountain of violence all over again. He must reclaim the title of champion. But first, he has to clean up the mess of this current lie. The classroom door slides open. A group of students walks in. They scan the room. They are looking for Cha Mugyeol. They are looking for a victim. They do not realize they have just walked into a tiger's den. The leader sneers. He asks if Mugyeol is the freak who messed with his friends. Mugyeol stands. His bulk is imposing. His eyes are dead calm. He confirms it. The violence that follows is not a brawl. It is surgery. A Dempsey roll. The motion is a blur. Weight transfers into momentum. A figure 8 of kinetic energy. The sound of impact is wet. Heavy. When the motion stops, teeth are rattling in Mugyeol's palm. The bullies are frozen. They are witnessing a level of brutality that does not belong in a high school classroom. A girl watches from the side. She does not scream. She stares. She sees the proficiency. The lethal grace hidden inside the heavy frame. Later, outside the school, the remnants of the gang regroup. They whisper about the sudden change. They speak of boxing skills appearing out of thin air. But one of them is skeptical. Baekju Seong. A grappler. A judo prodigy. He lights a cigarette. He dismisses the rumors. To him, weight classes exist for a reason. And in this ecosystem, he believes he is the apex predator. In the school bathroom, Mugyeol washes the blood off his hands. The girl follows him in. She is bold. Reckless. She introduces herself as a content creator. She smells a story. A loser turning into a fighter is internet gold. She wants to film him. She wants to make him famous. Mugyeol ignores her. He has no interest in views or likes. His ambition is focused on a singular point. Revenge against the chairman. He walks out. At the entrance, he collides with Baekju Seong. The judo player sneers. He looks at Mugyeol and sees a fat student. He sees a target. He calls out an insult. Expecting fear. He receives a kick instead. Mugyeol's leg snaps out without warning. A whip crack. Joseong stumbles back. The wind leaves his lungs. The girl films silently from the corner, capturing every frame. Joseong's ego fractures. He straightens up. His face twists into something ugly. Physical intimidation failed. He shifts to psychological warfare. He pulls out a smartphone. He hits play. It is a video of the old Mugyeol. The one before the possession. The boy in the video is dancing in his underwear. Humiliated. Broken. A puppet on a string. Joseong laughs. It is a leash the bullies use to control him. He threatens to release more. To destroy Mugyeol's social life forever. Mugyeol stares at the screen. He feels nothing. The shame belongs to a dead boy. Joseong mistakes the silence for fear. He leans in. Mocking. His tongue wagging like a serpent. Mugyeol moves. It is a slap. But it carries the weight of a sledgehammer. Joseong is launched across the room. He does not stumble. He flies. He smashes into the wall, sliding down into a heap of bruised pride and broken bones. The girl watches, stunned. The other bullies freeze. Mugyeol looks down at the groaning judo prodigy. He feels a cold realization settling in. In his pursuit of the chairman, he overlooked the trash right in front of him. He looms over the fallen boy. The shadow he casts is long and dark. This is not just a schoolyard dispute. This is a collection. And he has just found another object for his revenge. The air in the restroom smells like copper and fear. Mugyeol Cha has cornered his prey. The bullied is used to being the hunter. Now is shaking. He stares at Mugyeol, completely bewildered by the sudden shift in power. Mugyeol analyzes the distance. He looks at the combat range with the cold detachment of a surgeon. He holds back just enough for a front jab. Then, he snaps. A low tackle. He seizes the initiative. The onlookers are frozen. These are the wolves of the school's hierarchy. They usually laugh. Now, they stand like statues. They whisper the name of their leader, Baek Joseong. They talk about his judo skills. But nobody steps forward. They can feel it. The food chain has just flipped upside down. Mugyeol grabs his opponent's collar. There is no hesitation. Just brutal efficiency. He strikes. Again. And again. The opposition is silence. Mugyeol walks away, leaving a broken body twitching on the tiles. The system chimes. It rewards his brutality. Fight mission accomplished. He has collected 30 pieces of a misbehaved student's tea. 20 points hit his account. Violence has a currency. And Mugyeol is becoming rich. Alone in his room, he counts his assets. The interface glows in the dark. He checks his martial potential. Boxing. Wrestling. Endurance. It's good, but not enough. He spots a gap in his arsenal. Submission grappling. He relies on the memories of the professional fighter buried in his soul. Striking kills, but control dominates. He spends his points. A jiu-jitsu skill card. Light wraps around his body. Pain. Then clarity. In a single instant, years of training burn into his neural pathways. The knowledge of locks, chokes, and joint manipulation floods his brain. He bypasses the years of sweat required by ordinary men. He is now a complete weapon. He just needs the physical conditioning to pull the trigger. Far away, the school's wolves are licking their wounds. Baek Joseong and his inner circle sit in tense silence. They can't understand it. The timid boy they used to torture is gone. A monster has taken his place. Fear begins to crack their foundation. A subordinate suggests hiring gangsters. Joseong refuses. He nurses his bruised ego. He's scared of a war against a target he doesn't understand. Instead, he chooses a coward's weapon. If they can't break Mugyeol's body, they will execute his social existence. Under the cover of darkness, Mugyeol refines his new body. Shadow boxing. Sharp exhales. Focus. A voice cuts through the night. It's Yoon Mina. Loud. Bright. A content creator. A YouTuber. She mocks his breathing noises. She points her camera at him, asking for a performance. He ignores her. Until she holds up a flare. Real fighters. A martial arts tournament for civilians. The prize is 200 million won. But more importantly, it's a chance to debut in the professional league. Mugyeol sees the path. It's not about the cash. It's a stepping stone. A ladder to reach the high-ranking figures who destroyed his previous life. But the enemy strikes first. Not with a fist, but with a notification. Mugyeol's phone lights up. A video is spreading like a virus through the student body. It's the bathroom fight. But it's edited. Topped up. Stripped of context. It frames Mugyeol as a deranged aggressor attacking a helpless victim. The comment section is a landslide of hate. Calls for expulsion. Calls for death. Baek Ju-seon has sprung his trap. He has turned the herd against the lone wolf. Mugyeol knows he cannot fight this battle with silence. He turns to Maya. He demands her help. Moments later, her live stream flickers to light. The audience is waiting for the cute girl. Instead, they get the grim face of the viral villain. The chat explodes. Vitriol. Rage. Mugyeol doesn't flinch. He introduces himself. Calmly. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't play the victim. He stares into the lens, addressing the thousands watching him. Yes, he says. I beat him. But he doesn't stop there. He looks past the audience. He looks directly at the man watching from behind a screen. He calls out Baek Ju-seon by name. A smile creeps onto his face. It carries no warmth. It is a promise of impending destruction. He issues a public death threat. The video was meant to bury him. Mugyeol has used it to announce the hunt. He vows to make the leader suffer. The screen goes dark on his terrifying promise. The storage room reeks of fear. But the trembling isn't coming from the victim. It's coming from the tormentor. Mugyeol Cha looms over Baek Ju-seon. The predator is toying with trapped prey. The dynamic has shifted. Irrevocably. Mugyeol offers a choice. A cruel ultimatum. Do you want to be beaten defenseless? Or do you want to suffer, while trying to fight back? It isn't a choice. It's a mockery. Baek is cornered. His lackeys cower against the wall. They realize the hierarchy is crumbling. And there is a camera. Broadcasting live to the internet. Baek cannot run. If he flees, his reputation dies. Mugyeol tightens the psychological screws. He asks if the bully needs his mother. The humiliation burns. It overrides survival instinct. Baek screams. He accepts the challenge. The ritual begins. Mugyeol tosses a pair of red boxing gloves to his opponent. Mercy. Arrogance. It doesn't matter. Baek kicks the gloves away. Blinded by rage. He screams that he doesn't need protection. He just sealed his own fate. The bully charges. Wild. Undisciplined. Fueled by panic. Mugyeol watches him come. His eyes are cold. To him, the bully is moving in slow motion. When the strike comes, Mugyeol weaks. Effortless. Like a pilot operating a heavy machine. The counterattack is brutal. Fist meets flesh. The sound echoes in the small space. Mugyeol doesn't just fight. He dismantles. The precision of a surgeon. The weight of a sledgehammer. The live chat explodes. Shock floods the screen. The overweight outcast is moving like a veteran. Baek is overwhelmed. Battered into the concrete. His resistance extinguished. Then. Blue lights flash. Authorities. Baek Ju-seon, bloody and broken, sees salvation. He points a trembling finger at Mugyeol. He screams that he is the victim. That he was attacked without mercy. He trusts the social script to protect him. The officer ignores the screaming boy. He walks right past Mugyeol. The handcuffs click. Baek Ju-seon is restrained. Confusion washes over the bully. He demands an explanation. The officer's voice is flat. The charge isn't fighting. The charge is the production and distribution of sexual exploitation materials involving minors. Mugyeol holds up a phone. The screen shows a file count. 128. 129. He recovered every deleted video. Every photo. Every piece of evidence Baek thought was gone. The hunter had prepared his trap long before the first punch was thrown. Mugyeol leans in. Grim satisfaction. He tells Baek the truth. It is his life that is now in ruins. The live stream captures everything. Public opinion turned, instantly. The bully is exposed as a monster. The outcast becomes an avenger. Mugyeol faces the camera. He does not apologize. He quotes Malcolm X. Violence as intelligence. He recounts the theft. The daily humiliation. He learned boxing to survive. But survival is no longer enough. He stares into the lens. Addressing the world. He wants to be stronger. He wants to trade blows with the truly skilled. He announces his intention. He will enter the tournament known as Real Fighter. This was not a brawl. It was an audition. High above the streets. A corporate office. The feed is watched. Secretary Wu studies the footage. He notes the uncanny resemblance. The protagonist shares a name with the fallen legend, Mugyeol Cha. But it isn't just the name. The jab, the footwork, the rhythm of violence. It is identical to the dead fighter. Wu is disturbed. He worries about the optics. A minor entering a professional league. The influence on the youth. Chairman Jian laughs. He sits in the shadows. He lights a cigarette. He dismisses the morals. This is the business of blood. Humans haven't changed since the Colosseum. Dogs fighting in a village. Gladiators in a basement. The instinct to watch violence is primal. Chairman Jian guarantees it. Even the Minister of Education will watch. The controversy is not a deterrent. It is marketing. The boy is approved. Months pass. The arena for the real fighter qualifiers is buzzing. Journalists analyze the entry requirements. Brutal. 3 effective hits in a 2-minute round against a professional. A standard designed to crush emitters. The gatekeepers are monsters. Phantom level. Light level. Middle level. To land 1 hit is a miracle. 3 seems impossible. A journalist named Kang Heinman scans the waiting room. Her eyes widen. She sees a figure stretching in the corner. For a second, she believes she sees a ghost. The original Mugyeol Cha. She shakes her head. It cannot be. But the man turns. The protagonist has shed his former shell. The weight is gone. Muscles coil under his skin. Owned he by months of hellish training. He wears the uniform of a contender. He looks at his own hands, feeling the power humming inside them. Mugyeol Cha smiles. He is in his best condition. The qualifiers are about to begin. And the world is not ready for what he has become. The octagon is a merciless judge. It strips away titles. It tears off past glories. It leaves only the truth of strength. Look at the map. Choi Seok-do, a former gang leader who built a kingdom on terrorizing the weak. Here, he is nothing. The referee waves it off, ending the delusion. The crowd roars. They are feeding on the spectacle. And sitting among them is Manhwa, a creator with 800,000 followers. She is here for the thrill. A spectator gazing into the abyss. She notes the gangster's failure with a casual, bored interest. To her, this world of violence is just content. She doesn't realize the abyss is staring back. The announcer clears the stage. The main event is here. The name is called Mugyeol. But rewind the clock. Take it back to a quieter moment. A humble room. A final meal before the war begins. Mugyeol sits across from his father. The air is heavy, thick with unspoken worry. The son speaks. He chooses the path of the martial artist. The path of blood. The father questions him. He fears this is just a game. A fleeting whim of a boy. But look at the eyes that stare back. Cold. Certain. This is no game. The father sighs. It is the resignation of a man who knows he cannot stop the tide. He accepts the risk. He accepts that his son will bleed. He tells him to do his best. It isn't just advice. It is permission to unleash the beast within. Snap back to the cage. The opponent stands ready. Chae-won-ji. A man with a loud mouth and arrogance carved into his bones. He grips the microphone, desperate to control the narrative. He sneers at Mugyeol. He brings up a high school fight video, thinking he knows the limits of his enemy. He declares the terms. They will fight under boxing rules. He believes he has clipped the wings of the outcast. But Chae-won-ji is not fighting for himself. He is a tool. A puppet dancing on the strings of the chairman. He remembers his orders. Crush the boy. Make him beg. The rewards will follow. He sees Mugyeol not as a fighter, but as a stepping stone to fame. He grins, blinded by his own ambition. The bell rings. The puppet moves. Chae-won-ji unleashes a storm. A flurry of punches, aggressive and wild. He wants to end it quickly. But his target is a phantom. Mugyeol weaves through the violence with a terrifying calm. Look at his hands. They hang loose at his sides. No guard. No defense. He invites the attack. The spectators gasp. They mistake confidence for foolishness. They scream for him to raise his hands. They do not understand. A guard is for those who fear being hit. Mugyeol fears nothing. Chae-won-ji sees the open target. His ego screams that this is the end. He throws his weight into a finishing blow, certain of his victory. He speaks with his fists, loud and clumsy. Silence answers him. A single counter. Faster than thought. Mugyeol's fist meets the puppet's jaw. The connection is absolute. Wonji's ambitions, his orders, and his consciousness are extinguished in an instant. The silence preceded the destruction. And now, the destruction is complete. The outcast stands tall. The lesson has been taught. The impact resonates through the cage. A clean hit. Wonji stumbles back. His mind is reeling. He is a professional fighter. And the fist that just rocked his jaw belonged to a high school student. The pain is there. But the humiliation is worse. Before he can retaliate, the bell rings. End of round 1. Silence descends on the challenger's corner. Mugyeol Cha sits on his stool. Breathing steady. Expression unreadable. Only he can see it. A blue interface hovering in the air. A fight mission. Win against the pro. Reward. 100 points. Mugyeol stares at the screen. He feels a flicker of regret. Not fear. Regret. He realizes he could have squeezed more points out of this if had been more aggressive earlier. This isn't a fight for survival. It's a transaction. Across the cage, Wonji is unraveling. His pride has been fractured. He stares at the floor, unable to comprehend the speed of a novice. Shame transforms into malice. The rules of engagement no longer apply. Round 2 begins. The atmosphere shifts. Wonji closes the distance immediately. He abandons the purity of boxing. He initiates a clinch, wrapping his arms around Mugyeol to kill his movement. Dirty boxing. Technically legal. Morally bankrupt. Wonji grins, his face inches from Mugyeol's. He begins to whisper. He weaponizes the past. He brings up the history of bullying, assuming the memory of victimhood will paralyze the boy. He believes outcasts are bullied for a reason. He is mistaken. The boy he is holding is no longer a victim. Wonji tries to capitalize. He loads up a river blow, a vicious strike to the liver meant to shut down the body instantly. Mugyeol does not flinch. He does not freeze. He watches the shoulder. He reads the intent before the muscle even contracts. Mugyeol moves. A subtle shift right. Then left. A feint. Wonji throws his punch, but it cuts through empty air. The professional is left overextended. Exposed. Mugyeol seizes the opening. His fists fly with a speed that defies logic. 1 hit. 2 hits. The strikes land with the weight of retribution. Wonji panics. The amateur is too fast. Desperation sets in. He breaks the rules entirely. He throws a kick, a flagrant foul in a boxing spar. Mugyeol anticipates the treachery. He steps back. His eyes are cold, watching the desperate flailing of a man losing his status. This violence is fueled by history. In the past, Wonji used the game as his playground. He used his seniority to torment the weak. He forced a timid, previous version of Mugyeol into sparring matches that were nothing more than sanctioned beatings. He relished the sound of his fists hitting a defenseless junior. He ignored the pleas for mercy. He called it teaching resilience. The time creates monsters. Recently, Mugyeol approached him again. He asked to spar. Wonji, blinded by arrogance, accepted with a smirk. He thought it would be another fun session of torture. He didn't see the predator hiding behind the uniform. Back in the cage, the punishment continues. Wonji is backed against the fence. He tries to regain control. But every move is mirrored. Countered. Destroyed. A terrifying realization dawns on him. Mugyeol isn't fighting randomly. He is targeting gaps on purpose. He is leading Wonji's actions. It is suffocating. This is the style of a veteran champion, not a student. The spectators watch in stunned silence. The game owner. The other pros. The impossible is happening. The movement. The feints. Mugyeol is displaying a mastery that eclipses the professional. Wonji's mental state collapses. He cannot win on his feet. The humiliation of being battered by a loser is too much to bear. He abandons his pride as a striker. If he cannot punch him, he will crush him. With a snarl, Wonji dives. A takedown. He aims for the legs, intending to drag the fight to the ground where weight and experience usually triumph. He thinks this is his escape route. He believes the amateur will be helpless against grappling. He is wrong again. Mugyeol looks down at the desperate man diving at his waist. A smile touches his lips. It is not a smile of joy. It is a smile of execution. He has been waiting for this. The text on the screen confirms the shift in warfare. Hyojutsu. Mugyeol does not sprawl to defend. He moves to counter. The hunter has stepped into the trap, and the jaws are about to snap shut. The professional wanted a fight. He has found a war he cannot survive. The octagon floor is unforgiving, but the arm wrapped around Chewonja's throat. That is a death sentence. It isn't a fight anymore. It is a dismantling. A technical execution. A tackle counters the strike. Transitions instantly into a guillotine. The professional fighter flails, his limbs jerking against the loss of oxygen. Panic sets in. But the high school student does not relent. The leverage is perfect. The outcome was decided before the referee even moved. The official steps in. Match over. The crowd freezes. Stunned silence breaks into chaos. A professional just fell to a nobody. High in the darkness of the VIP section, Chairman Jang watches. His face twitches. Annoyance. Quickly masked by calculation. He remembers the dead. He grabs the microphone. He steps into the spotlight to control the narrative. He speaks of the late fighter, the man whose soul now pollutes Mugyeol's body. He claims he loved the deceased. He claims he doted on him. A lie spoken with the smooth confidence of a serpent. He mourns the past talent to claim ownership of the new one. Center stage. The chairman extends a hand. Mugyeol takes it. The grip is firm. But behind the boy's eyes, a mind is screaming. Memories of the dead surge forward. Betrayal. Exploitation. The cold reality of this man's business. Mugyeol suppresses the urge to kill him right here. He forces a smile. A mask to match the chairman's own duplicity. The rage boils. This man will die by his hand. But not today. Later. The adrenaline fades. The solitude of training takes over. Mugyeol sits on a park bench, staring at the air. The system interface glows. The victory yielded points. But power is expensive. He burns 100 points instantly. The system obeys. Jiu-jitsu skill ascends to rank D. Progress. Purchased with the currency of violence. A shadow falls over him. A woman approaches. Kang Hein-min, a journalist. She isn't here for an autograph. She holds a device. She has the footage. The raw clip the officials want to bury. She knows the submission wasn't luck. She is a variable he didn't count on. The next phase begins. Selection for the finals. The herd must be thin. 10 participants remain. They must choose a mentor for a 5 versus 5 team match. The choice is brutal. On the left, heavyweight champion Han. A symbol of guaranteed victory. On the right, Im Jian-soo. A veteran ranked 15. A man defined by his losses. The implication is clear. Han is the golden ticket. Im is the garbage bin for the weak. The applicants scramble. Rats fleeing a sinking ship, desperate to stand next to power. Mugyeol steps forward. He ignores the champion. He walks toward the failure. He chooses Im. The room goes dead silent. The other applicants stare. Mugyeol stands alone next to the veteran. The only one to make the suicide choice. Up in the control room, Chairman Jang watches the monitor. A logistical nightmare. The teams are unbalanced. 9 against 1. Subordinates panic. They suggest a redo. But Jang raises a hand. He sees an opportunity. The boy is talented, but reckless. He defied the natural order by choking out a pro. Now, he defies the social order. Jang decides to let the mistake stand. He will use this imbalance to teach the boy a lesson. Power isn't just about fists. It's about knowing your place. The episode airs on television. Mugyeol sits in his small living room with his father. They watch the screen, waiting for the triumph. But the moment never comes. The broadcast is slick, professional, and entirely fake. Mugyeol's match. The submission. The dominance. Excised. Edited out of existence. The screen focuses only on the others. His father offers awkward comfort. Mugyeol smiles to reassure him. But the cold realization settles in his gut. This is the chairman's doing. He controls the league. He controls the history. If Mugyeol cannot be controlled, he will be erased. Mugyeol walks out to the terrace. He pulls out his phone. He does not accept a rasher. He dials the number of the woman from the shadows. I need your help. The internet begins to stir. Message boards light up. Spectators who were at the arena are confused. They saw a high schooler dismantle a pro. Why was it cut? Rumors of fraud circulate. The audience smells a conspiracy. Then, the upload hits. Kang Hein-min releases the raw footage. The title is blunt. Proof that the league fabricated the broadcast. It spreads like a virus. The video shows the tackle. It shows the guillotine. It shows the undeniable skill the league tried to hide. The comment section ignites. The public turns on the corporation. They mock the professional who lost. They worship the outcast who won. In his office, Chairman Jang stares at his phone. His control is slipping. The narrative has been hijacked. The reckless amateur struck back. Not with a fist, but with the truth. The chairman's face twists into a snarl. The game has changed. In the silence of the high-rise office, frustration hits a boiling point. Chairman Jang slams his fist against the desk. The sound echoes like a gunshot. His composure is cracking. The media vultures are circling. They ask about malicious editing. They question the integrity of his show. A subordinate suggests transparency. Tell them the truth. Tell them the contestant requested the edit. But the chairman knows better. To speak now is to bleed in the water. He chooses silence. He regrets opening the door to this chaos. But the game is already in motion. There is no turning back. Elsewhere, the hierarchy of the schoolyard has shifted. The students who once looked at Mugyeol with disdain now whisper his name. Reverence. Fear. They have seen the broadcast. They have seen the violence he is capable of. He sits alone. The center of attention, yet utterly detached. They call him the real fighter. They say he was a scratched lottery ticket. Now, he is the prize. A female student approaches. She invites him to karaoke. A thinly veiled attempt to get close to his new status. Mugyeol doesn't even look up. He declines. Today is chess day. She presses. Tomorrow. Leg day. Monday. Toters. He lists the schedule with the cold precision of a machine. There is no room in his life for trivial social bonding. He dismisses her. She is left confused, insulted by the wall of indifference. He walks the corridors with the only girl who knows the truth of his past. She asks why he avoids them. Mugyeol's answer is simple. When he was at the bottom. When he was being crushed under the heel of bullies. These people were ghosts. They offered no hand. Now that he shines, they seek his light. He has no use for parasites. He has a mission. The dim reeks of sweat and leather. Mugyeol finds Jin-soo, the mentor carrying a heavy burden of guilt. Mugyeol decides to grant him absolution. Not with the truth, but with a necessary lie. He claims to have met the original fighter before. He tells Jin-soo that the man spoke of him often. That he regarded Jin-soo as a brother. Grateful for the bills paid. Grateful for the shelter. Jin-soo is stunned. The weight lifts. He apologizes for doubting Mugyeol's potential. Mugyeol brushes it off. If he were stronger, the team wouldn't be in this desperate position. And the reality is grim. The team is broken. Battered by the overwhelming force of the opposing faction. They lie on the canvas, gasping for air. Their spirits crushed. They are prey waiting to be devoured. The night of the final live broadcast. The stadium is a sea of screaming fans. Hungry for violence. The lights blaze down on the octagon. The main event begins. Middleweight class. The announcer hypes the disparity. The enemy team is portrayed as an unstoppable force. Elites. A marathoner. A karate player. A jiu-jitsu specialist. Jin's team is the underdog. Expected to crumble. From the VIP section, Chairman Jang watches. He is a predator sensing a shift in the wind. The enemy leader is confident, expecting an easy slaughter. But the atmosphere in the ring is wrong. Mugyeol steps forward. He does not take a fighting stance. He takes the microphone. The audience falls silent. Her towel is broken. The crew panics. Cut the audio. Mugyeol speaks. He addresses the chairman directly. He wants to change the structure. He declares his intention to fight the entire opposing team. By himself. The crowd erupts. Some laugh. Some jeer. Attention seeker. But Mugyeol's voice cuts through the noise. He admits his team is not ready. They are weak. To proceed as planned would ruin the show. Therefore, to save the program, he will stand alone. It is a gamble born of supreme arrogance. In the fit booth, the chairman's eyes narrow. He sees the audacity. He sees the risk. But more importantly, he sees the ratings. If the boy wants to die on live television, who is he to stop him? It is good business. Challenge accepted. The terms are discussed. 5 rounds. 3 minutes each. Mugyeol interrupts again. No need. He intends to end it instantly. The opposing team is incensed. The tattoo-covered gangster stares in disbelief. The disrespect is absolute. The bell hasn't rung, but the tension snaps. 1 against 5. The first opponent, Kyung-cheol, steps forward. Instructions to play dirty. Use the clinch. Foul play. Neutralize the striker. He enters the ring expecting a fight. Mugyeol stands relaxed. He is not looking at Kyung-cheol. He is looking at the air above the man's head. A blue holographic window manifests in his vision. Fight mission. Be the winner of the final. Reward. 50 points. A smile twists Mugyeol's lips. It is not the smile of a sportsman. It is the smile of a merchant looking at a pile of gold. He looks at the 5 men standing across from him. Above each of their heads, the system displays a value. 50 points. He does not see warriors. He sees currency. He sees experience. 250 points. The calculation is complete. The harvest begins. Mugyeol launches a kick. It registered only as a blur. The impact is sickening. He is not here to compete. He is here to collect. The blue screen hovers in the air. Only he can see it. The rules of the game have shifted. The system is done offering a flat rate. It wants a body count. 50 points. That is the bounty placed on every head in this room. Mugyeol Cha stares at the opposition. He doesn't see athletes entering the cage. He sees currency. He sees resources waiting to be harvested. The limit he usually sets for himself evaporates. Greed is a potent fuel. The first obstacle is quiet. He doesn't matter. He is erased from reality in seconds. The cage door opens again. The next victim is Go Yun-pyo. The crowd murmurs. Yun-pyo is a wrestler. A man who understands gravity. The spectators do the math. They believe a striker cannot survive deep water. They believe a marathon runner cannot outsprint a wrestler. They are wrong. Yun-pyo steps in. He looks for the takedown. He lowers his level, preparing to drag the fight into the mud. He expects a fist. He receives a shin. Mugyeol drives a calf kick into the lead leg. Surgical. It hits the nerve dead on. Yun-pyo falters. The pain is electric. His structure collapses for a fraction of a second. That fraction is all that is required. Mugyeol steps in. An uppercut finds the chin. The wrestler's consciousness is severed before his knees touch the canvas. 30 seconds. The expert never even threw a punch. He simply fell. The system tallies the score. The crowd is frozen. The third sacrifice enters. Hwan Ilju. The karate champion. The man of iron. He raises his guard high. The turtle strategy. He intends to let Mugyeol break his hands against a wall of muscle and bone. He taunts silently. He invites the attack. He believes his durability is infinite. He is mistaken. Mugyeol does not waste energy on the shell. He strikes the soft underbelly. A single body blow. It looks harmless to the uninitiated. But force travels through fluid. The liver shock shuts down the nervous system instantly. The man of iron vomits. His eye bulge. The turtle shell cracks from the inside out. Ilju collapses, his tenacity meaningless against biology. Another one-punch knockout. The arena goes quiet. This is not a competition. It is an execution. The opposing team is in disarray. Their wrestler failed. Their tank failed. They have one card left to play. Hyo Ji-hun enters the octagon. The jiu-jitsu specialist. If Mugyeol cannot be beaten standing, he must be broken on the ground. This is their logic. Ji-hun wastes no time. He drops low. Spinning for the legs. The imanari roll. A high-level trap designed to shred the ligaments of the knee. It catches experts off guard. Mugyeol watches the rotation with cold indifference. He steps back. The trap snaps shut on empty air. Ji-hun is on his back, confused. Before he can reset, the predator is upon him. Mugyeol takes the mount position. He rains down punishment. Ji-hun realizes too late that he is not fighting a novice. Mugyeol knows the ground game. He knows the counters. He knows the mechanics of the heel hook. Desperate, Ji-hun attempts an arm triangle from the bottom. He tries to choke the lion that is eating him. Mugyeol feels the grip. He does not panic. He creates space, prying the limb away with superior leverage. He breaks the hold. And then he reverses the flow. Mugyeol sinks in a triangle choke of his own. The legs lock. The carotid arteries are compressed. Ji-hun struggles. His face turns the color of a bruise. He realizes the gap in skill is not a gap. It is a canyon. The submission holds. Jie Hundo's limp. The referee dives in to save a corpse from becoming a reality. 4 opponents. 4 bodies strewn across the canvas. The points accumulate in the dark window that only Mugyeol can see. The spectators are no longer cheering for a fight. They are witnessing a natural disaster in human form. Even the VIPs are rattled. Logic has left the building. The cage door opens for the final time. The preliminary matches are over. The true test arrives. A man of immense size steps into the light. His skin is a tapestry of thing. The MC of the previous round. The gangster. He walks with the confidence of a man who enjoys the sound of breaking bones. He looks at Mugyeol, standing amidst the wreckage. A smile splits his face. It's nice to see you, Pom. The final boss has arrived. The silence is over. The real violence begins now. The VIP section. A cage built of velvet and arrogance. Chairman Jang sits in the shadows. His expression soars. He authorized the rule change. A chaotic variable. He wanted to entertain the rage by crushing the weak. He expected the boy to break under the pressure. He was wrong. The boy isn't breaking. He is turning the octagon into his throne room. Chairman Jang realizes too late. He tried to create a spectacle. He accidentally forged a star. Down in the cage. The air is thick. Sweat. Impending violence. Mugyeol Cha stands shirtless. Chest heaving. The tall of 4 fights clings to his loins like wet sand. Opposite him, the 5th hurdle. Choi Seok-do. A mountain of flesh and ink. 89 kilograms. 183 centimeters. This isn't a match. It's a collision. A heavyweight monster against a tired middleweight. The spectators whisper behind the fence. They see Mugyeol's fatigue. They see the size difference. Even the believers doubt the math. Size conquers exhaustion. The bell doesn't ring. The violence just starts. Subdue charges. A tank with no brakes. He knows physics is on his side. Mugyeol kicks. His foot digs in. But the impact dies in layers of fat and muscle. Seok-do doesn't stop. He swings wild, heavy hooks. The sound of them cutting the air is terrifying. Mugyeol feels the lead in his legs. His steps are dull. If he tries to dance around this behemoth, his lungs will fail first. Survival demands a change. He stops retreating. He plants his feet in the center of the storm. Seok-do throws a punch meant to decapitate. Mugyeol doesn't dodge. He raises his hands. Fingers splayed. A perfect boxing parry. Leather slaps leather. A technique of immense difficulty with monk gloves. Surgical precision. Mugyeol deflects the force. He steps inside the monster's guard. He is no longer the prey. He is the surgeon. Rapid fire. Mugyeol's fists find the soft spots on the torso. The impact reverberates. Seok-do grins. He dismisses the pain. He thinks heart beats technique. He thinks fear is for other people. He is wrong. Heart matters little when the body is being dismantled. Mugyeol speaks. His voice cuts the noise. Stir-fried pork. It isn't a taunt. It is a classification. Total lack of respect. Seok-do roars. The crazy dog of Mason is wounded. He demands respect. He swings again. Reckless. Why? Mugyeol steps in. Limbs tangle. It looks like a clinch. A messy struggle. But Mugyeol isn't hugging. He grabs the fingers. The referee sees it. Illegal move. Intentional manipulation. He moves to deduct a point. Mugyeol doesn't care about points. He cares about breaking the weapon. He twists. The joy screams. Seok-do's eyes go white. The gangster mask slips. Beneath the ink, there is only a terrified victim. He pulls back, clutching his hand. Staring at Mugyeol like he is looking at a demon. They try to break my hand. The dynamic shifts instantly. The match restarts. But Seok-do is already defeated. He steps back. The massive fighter backs himself into the cage. Terrified of the smaller man walking him down. Mugyeol pursues. Relentless. Come here, he commands. You freaking gangster. Cornered. Panic overrides training. Seok-do flails. A desperate punch to keep the demon away. Mugyeol slips under the blow. A phantom. He rises. Driving his fist into the liver. A wet, heavy sound. Seok-do freezes. A liver shot doesn't throb. It shuts down the body. Mugyeol whispers cold promises. He will beat him, until the fat is gone. Another hook to the body. Another. Seok's face turns purple. He cannot breathe. He cannot think. He can only endure the systematic destruction of his organs. Humiliation fuels one last burst. Seok screams. A final, desperate haymaker. Slow. Telegraphing. Born of fear. Mugyeol watches it come. He doesn't blink. He counters. Fist connects with jaw. The lights go out. The giant collapses. The floor shakes. Violence. Then, the eruption. The crowd loses its mind. The chat floods with worship. Mugyeol stands over the fallen giant. 2 men sent to the hospital in a single night. Up in the VIP box, Chairman Jang grips his armrest. Cold lead settles in his gut. This isn't an aspiring fighter. This is a monster. An uncontrollable force tearing down the hierarchy. In the cage, the medics scramble. Mugyeol takes the microphone. The host is sweating. Praising the luck. Praising the unexpected victory. Mugyeol looks at the mic. Then at the camera. He wipes the sweat from his brow. He remembers the insults. He remembers Han Dae-gyun, the so-called champion, calling this luck. Mr. President. Mugyeol says. His voice amplified. I think there is still time left for this live broadcast. Chairman Jang freezes. The fight ended early. The ads aren't ready. Mugyeol smiles. It is not a kind smile. I would like to use the time to propose a match. He turns his gaze to the stands. Locking eyes with the man in the suit. The man at the top of the food chain. Han Dae-gyun. Mugyeol throws the gauntlet down. Have one match with me. The crowd roars. The trap is sprung. The outcast hasn't just survived. He is hunting the king. Mugyeol Cha has finished speaking. Now, only the violence remains. The mic is live. The silence that follows the challenge is heavy. Suffocating. But up in the VIP section, the math is already done. Chairman Jang looks down at the boy in the cage. He sees arrogance. He sees a mistake. But mostly, he sees an opportunity. If his champion crushes this upstart on live television, the reputation of the organization is restored in blood. The chairman gives the nod. The execution is approved. The rules are simple. 3 minutes. 2 rounds. No safety. Han Dae-gyun peels off his suit jacket. The difference is comical. Under the fabric, the champion is a wall of muscle. A heavyweight predator staring down prey that barely registers on the scale. The crowd murmurs. They sense the mismatch. They smell the slaughter. Mugyeol Cha holds the microphone one last time. He looks at the mountain of meat before him. He does not tremble. He smiles. I acknowledge your courage, Han says, his voice flat. But you are making a mistake. Mugyeol sneers. You really talk a lot. Go bite your mouthpiece. Unless you want your teeth to fall out. The insult lands. The champion's face twists. The calm veneer cracks, revealing the violence underneath. You bastard, Han hisses. Alright. Let me beat you to death. You tiny little shit. The referee signals the start. Han Dae-gyun does not rush blindly. He earns his nickname, the Glacier. He moves with cold, crushing the inevitability. He feints a strike, draws a reaction, and drops his level. It is flawless. He shoots for the legs. The takedown is immediate. Mugyeol is swept off his feet, his back slamming against the canvas. The world is now horizontal. And in this world, the champion is a god. The crowd is confused. They expected a brawl. Instead, they are witnessing a professional dismantling. Why use wrestling on a high school student? Because this isn't a game. Han intends to suffocate him. Han secures the top position. He rains down strikes. The sound of fist meeting flesh echoes in the arena. He transitions, driving his knee into Mugyeol's belly. It is a cruel technique, designed to purge the lungs of air and the mind of hope. The pressure is immense. Every breath Mugyeol takes is a battle. Your wrestling skills are really dull, Han taunts from above, his weight pressing down like an invol. Why challenge me with trash like this? From beneath the pressure, a single eye opens. It is wide. It is focused. There is no fear in it. Only calculation. This fucker, Han thinks, seeing the defiance. His eyes are still alive. Han resumes the punishment. He vows to break the boy slowly. He postures up, preparing to rain down destruction. But Mugyeol is waiting. In a flash of movement that betrays his immature status, Mugyeol creates space. He moves his hips. He attempts an escape. Han counters, looking to lock in an arm bar, to snap the limb, and end the night. The crowd gasps. But Mugyeol knows the shape. The consciousness within him remembers the mechanics of the joint lock. He rotates. He pulls. With a violent jerk, he rips his arm free from the champion's grasp. Han is shocked. Damn it. He knows the escape. For a fleeting second, the positions reverse. Mugyeol is on top. But the gap in a experience is a chasm. Han does not panic. He uses the momentum against the boy. A scissor is sweet. Simple. Effective. The world flips again. Mugyeol is back on the bottom. The champion is back on the hunt. Han establishes the mount. He sits on Mugyeol's chest. This is the end of the line for most fighters. There is nowhere to go. The strikes begin again. Harder now. Fueled by irritation. Whoa. Mugyeol gasps between impacts. You are tenacious. Han pauses. Fist raised. Just give up here. Wait. You can't move your mouth. Mugyeol spits blood. You really talk a lot. Do all your fighters fight with their mouths? The disrespect is absolute. Han loses the last of his professional detachment. You arrogant bastard. He strikes. Mugyeol barely moves his head, absorbing the blow. It seems your master didn't teach you how to wrestle, Mugyeol taunts, rubbing salt in the wound. Then I should teach you some. Han goes berserk. The technical dismantling dissolves into a brutal ground and pound assault. He hammers Mugyeol's guard. Fists collide with forearms and face. The sound is wet and heavy. But as Han strikes, he feels it. The vibration traveling up his arm. The density of the boy's bones. The unnatural resilience of the body beneath him. He isn't normal. A professional fighter knows when an opponent is broken. Mugyeol Cha is being beaten, yes. But he is not breaking. The bell rings. The round ends. Han Dae-gyeon rises, chest heaving. He looks down at his hands. He dominated the round single-handedly. Yet, the unease lingers. The boy took a beating that would have hospitalized a grown man. Yet he crawled to his corner. In the corner, the mood is grim. Mugyeol sits, a towel over his head. His sides are bruised. His face is battered. Your right side is bleeding, his second says, panic in his voice. It was only a scratch, Mugyeol replies, calmly sipping water. His mentor is frantic. Mugyeol. Let's stop here. Honestly, it is impressive that you have come this far. You felt the gap. You felt the difference. Mugyeol stares ahead. Hyung, if you are my mentor, you should teach me techniques. Why are you spitting nonsense? The mentor is stunned. If I knew how to win, I wouldn't lose 3 times. That bastard skill is no joke. Mugyeol considers this. The gap is real. He has only practiced kicking for 4 weeks. Wrestling against a champion is suicide. But still, Mugyeol whispers from under the towel. If we were to find a way. He analyzes the data. He needs to block the takedown. If he can force a stand-up fight, if he can defend the wrestling, he has a chance. There is no way you can win right now, the mentor pleads. Do not worry. I will find a way, Mugyeol says. If it cannot, I just need to learn how. He stands up. He takes the towel that was meant to hide his defeat and wipes the blood from his face. Then he throws it aside. Mugyeol Cha walks back toward the center of the cage. His body is better, but his stride is steady. He is not done. I am going to discipline that damn champion. Silence precedes destruction. The bell for the second round is about to ring. The bell rings. Round 2. To the audience, it is the start of a sporting event. To Han Dae-gyeon, it is a formality. He steps out of his corner. Shoulders loose. Eyes dead. He looks across the canvas and sees Emil. A victim. The resistance he faced in the first round. A fluke. A delay. In his mind, his wrestling pedigree is absolute. A wall that a novice striker cannot climb. He calculates the distance. He expects Mugyeol to be the same frightened prey he battered minutes ago. The champion moves first. He throws a lazy jab. A distraction. He doesn't care if it lands. He just wants the eyes to blink. As the fist extends, Han drops his level. Fast. Heavy. He dives for the legs. It is the exact same nightmare that dominated the previous round. Han expects the impact. He waits to feel the body crumpling under his weight. But the body does not crumble. Mugyeol reacts with a speed that defies logic. He drops his hips. He drives his weight down. A perfect sprawl. His chest slams onto the champion's back, legs kicking out wide. It is a brick wall. Han is stopped cold. Before he can process the math, the equation changes. Mugyeol capitalizes on the broken rhythm. He breaks the clinch. A short hook. Set. It clips the champion on the exit. Not a knockout blow, but a message. The wrestling has failed. They separate. Han stares. Confused. The audience murmurs. The script has shifted, but the champion refuses to read it. He tells himself it was luck. A desperate amateur's miracle. He resets. He dives again. Same strategy. Same arrogance. Again, Mugyeol drops. The sprawl is immediate. The takedown is stuffed. Inside Mugyeol's mind, there is no panic. Only cold, transactional logic. During the break, he did not pray. He shot. He utilized the system that governs his new life. He poured every available point into his wrestling stat. He did not need to become a master grappler. He only needed enough proficiency to survive. He bought the one thing a striker needs to kill a wrestler. Distance. And now, the distance opens up. Han Dae-gyeon stands exposed. His primary weapon is neutralized. Mugyeol steps in. He fires a straight punch. It snaps the champion's head back. Clean. The crowd erupts. They smell blood. From the stands, the senior fighters lean forward. They see the tactical shift. Mugyeol has blocked the tackle twice. He has denied the ground game. He has forced the champion to stand in the deep water. This is the realm where Mugyeol has prepared to kill. Mugyeol shifts his weight. He lashes out with a low kick. Shin meets calf. The whack. The system registers the damage. Effective hit. 2 of 3 required. The champion's leg buckles. The pain is sharp. Unfamiliar. Han's face twists in agony. He looks at the boy and sees a ghost. The timidity is gone. In its place is a mirror, reflecting his own inadequacy. Han is fading. His gas tank is empty. His pride is heavy. Desperation takes the wheel. He abandons technique for brute force. He lunges, attempting a wild sweep. He is convinced that defense cannot save Mugyeol forever. He is wrong. Mugyeol reads the movement. An instinct borrowed from a predator. He evades the sweep effortlessly. The moment for the finish has arrived. Mugyeol recalls the voice of the spirit sharing his body. The mentor had warned him. Spinning kicks are high risk. Hard to land in a real fight. Mugyeol had argued. Not if you blind them first. He throws the setup punch. Han reacts to the hand. His guard goes up. His vision goes black. Mugyeol pivots. He spins. Torque generates from the core. The heel drives backward, seeking the soft tissue of the torso. The back kick connects. Flush. It digs into the ribs. Straight to the liver. The sound is sickeningly solid. The system flashes a notification. Effective hit. 3 of 3. The mission is complete. But the violence follows its own laws. Han freezes. His body shuts down as the organ absorbs the shock. He stands motionless for a second. A statue to his own hubris. Then, gravity claims him. He collapses to the canvas. Curled in the fetal position. Gasping for air that his lungs refuse to accept. The referee waves his arms. It is over. Silence precedes the roar. The spectators lose their minds. They chant Mugyeol's name. A warm-up match has turned into an execution. Mugyeol stands over the fallen king. His chest heaves. His face is impassive. He does not celebrate. He merely observes the result of his calculation. A blue window floats in the air. Win against a professional fighter. Mission accomplished. Mugyeol exits the cage. Reporters swarm the tunnel. They are hungry for a soundbite from the rookie who destroyed a pro. He ignores them. He walks through the noise, his focus entirely internal. He is not interested in fame. He is interested in the numbers. In the solitude of the weighing room, Mugyeol sits on a bench. The adrenaline fades. Exhaustion sets in. The only light comes from the status window. The reward is substantial. 250 points. He considers the investment. Jiu-jitsu. More wrestling. The tools of survival. But the system has one more surprise. A new notification expands in his vision. Class, you have reached 300 points for the first time. Do you want to participate in the first challenge mission? Yes or no? Mugyeol stares at the prompt. The fight in the cage was merely a tutorial. The real test is just beginning. The weighing room bench offers no comfort. It's just a place to make a transaction. 300 points. That's the price of admission. The product is violence. A virtual combat simulation. The objective is absolute. Knock out a professional MUF fighter. 30 attempts allowed. Mugyeol Cha takes the deal. He thinks his theoretical knowledge is enough. He thinks he's ready. The system is about to correct him. He steps into the digital octagon. His opponent is a blue construct. A mirror of physical potential, but superior in every way that counts. Mugyeol relies on his boxing pedigree. It's a mistake. The construct is an all-rounder. It blends striking and grappling into a seamless weapon. Mugyeol hesitates. The construct does not. A durst choke locks in. Blood stops flowing to the brain. Darkness takes him. He wakes up in the real world. He analyzes the failure. He was too passive. He goes back in. Round 5. A high kick connects with his temple. Unconscious. Round 4. A hook finds his jaw. Technical knockout. Attempt 10. Failure. Attempt 14. Dust. Attempt 15. He gets taken to the ground. The construct mounts him. The grip is loose, but the position is dominant. The ground and pound is merciless. Rhythmic. Brutal. Pain brings clarity. The system categorizes skills into rigid boxes. Punching. Kicking. Wrestling. Jiu-jitsu. Mugyeol realizes his error. He has been fighting in turns. You punch. Then I punch. That isn't combat. Real fighting is a cycle. A strike must flow into a takedown. A takedown must pave the road for a submission. He enters the cage again. He stops thinking. He flows. Attempt 22. His wrestling skill evolves. A plus sign appears next to the ring. Theory becomes practice. Attempt 27. His kicking skill sharpens. Attempt 30. The final chance. Mugyeol engages. He mixes the rhythm. Strike. Transition. Grapple. He forces the construct to the canvas. He secures the mount. This time, he is the one raining down the violence. He strikes until the construct shatters. Victory. Evaluation. A plus. His weaknesses have been forged into weapons. The system reveals a new path. Hidden reward requirements met. One of 3 keys has been obtained. Back in the real world, the triumph spills over. A teacher ejects him from the classroom for the disturbance. It's irrelevant. The classroom is too small for what he is becoming. He needs to hunt. The scene shifts. A traditional tea room. Heavy with the scent of ambition and old money. An older man sits across from Mugyeol. He speaks in metaphors. He talks of waves and wing. He claims a wave needs wing to rise. And a young man needs a father figure to ascend. The man draws a katana. With a practiced motion, he slices his own palm. Blood drips into a ceramic cup. Blood oath. He offers to be that wind. Mugyeol watches the performance with dead eyes. He recognizes this room. He recognizes this tactic. The fighter, whose soul he shares. He was destroyed by this very man. In this very room. The architecture of the manipulation is identical. Mugyeol pushes the cup away. He mocks the offer. He tells the man that a father is not bought with a cut on the hand. If you want to bond that deep, you should cut your throat instead. The mask of benevolence slips. The old man's face turns to stone. Mugyeol cuts through the pretense. He demands the contract. He recites the terms before he even reads them. He knows the poison pills hidden in the ink. Unfair splits. Draconian restrictions. Clauses designed to own a human being. He signs the document. Not out of ignorance, but out of arrogance. He asks the man how many fighters he had to break to create such an evil contract. He walks into the trap with his eyes wide open, knowing he is the one who will eventually spring it. The refugium awaits his arrival. It is a factory of violence, filled with aspirants and gatekeepers. Rumors of Mugyeol's contract have poisoned the air. The other fighters know he skipped the apprenticeship. They resent his fame. Chae Won-ji, the deputy director, orchestrates the malice. He remembers Mugyeol from the broadcast. He sees an arrogant brat who needs to be broken. He rallies the Kim members. They plan a sparring session that will serve as an execution. The door opens. Mugyeol steps inside. The atmosphere is heavy with hostility. Dozens of fighters stop their training to glare at the intruder. They see a victim. Mugyeol sees something else. The system activates. A new mission overlays reality. Fail. A hell for who? Objective. Score as many knockouts as possible during the welcome match. Rewards. Knockouts yield 50 points. Submissions yield 100 points. Numbers float above the heads of the men in the room. 10 points. 20 points. They are no longer threats. They are currency. Mugyeol smiles. It is a predator's smile. The wolves thought they were trapping a sheep, but they have locked themselves in with the tiger. There is so much to eat. The boardroom can be deadlier than the cage. Across the table sits Chairman Jang, a man who builds empires on the backs of the desperate. The air smells like old tea and absolute power. He expects Mugyeol to be like the rest. Hungry, grateful for scraps. He expects a victim. But Mugyeol isn't looking for a handout. He cuts through the pleasantries with the precision of a scalpel. He recites the contract from memory. Every clause, every trap, every chain designed to own a fighter's soul. He looks the old man in the eye. How badly do you treat your dogs to need a leash this tight? The chairman doesn't recoil. To him, this isn't slavery. It's business. He talks about opportunity. About the champions who crawled through this dirt to become stars. He calls the contract a golden ticket. Mugyeol knows better. It's a cage. The chairman loses patience. He slams his cup down. Porcelain cracks in the silence. What do you want? Money. A shorter term. Mugyeol leans forward. The predator has arrived. He demands a revision. Pay-per-view. The lifeblood of the company. The secret river of cash that fighters are usually too stupid to touch. Even the champions don't dare ask for a share of the revenue. But this rookie knows exactly what his worth. The chairman decides to play the game. Give me a number. Mugyeol doesn't blink. 7-3. And just so we're clear. The 7 is for him. It's not a request. It's a notification of terms. If the chairman wants the best product, he has to pay the premium price. The deal is struck. But in this world, ink isn't enough. Now, the payment must be made in violence. The scene shifts. The air turns from stale tea to sweat and aggression. The welcome ceremony begins. Conditioning. Sidesteps. Burpees. Scramble drills. A torture test designed to break the weak. The veterans push until their lungs burn. They watch the rookie, waiting for him to collapse. They wait for him to break. He does not. While they gasp for air, clutching their knees, Mugyeol sits there, calm, even breathing. He looks like a man waiting for a bus, not someone who just survived hell. The whispers start. Free. The head coach steps in. Time for the real initiation. A gauntlet. The pack of wolves circles. They've been waiting to teach the new guy a lesson. Then comes the sabotage. It's clumsy. Transparent. One fighter claims he forgot the standard 12-ounce gloves. Sorry, coach. We only have the 10-ounce pairs. The gem hides a smirk. 2 ounces lighter. Less padding. More impact. They think they're handing the rookie a death sentence. Mugyeol agrees instantly. They think he's arrogant. They don't realize that thinner gloves work both ways. If they can hit harder, so can he. And his strikes are not something they want to feel. The first victim steps up. Park Sang-hyeok. Rank 38. A heavy, durable gatekeeper. The bullies have a plan. They saw Mugyeol on T. They think he's just a lucky striker. The strategy is simple. Grind him down. Clinch him. Use the weight difference. Crush his lungs. Park enters the cage, confident. He thinks he's walking into a fight. He doesn't know he's walking into an execution. The violence begins without a bell. Park rushes in. He eats the distance, crashing into Mugyeol just as planned. He wraps his arms around the waist. The clinch is tight. The weight is heavy. The crowd nods. Got him. But Mugyeol's face is bored. He feels the leverage. He sees the opening. Park is so focused on the upper body, he forgot his foundation. Mugyeol lifts his heel and drives it down. Crunch. The stomp destroys Park's bare foot. The pain is sharp and immediate. Focus shatters. The grip loosens for a fraction of a second. That's an eternity for a professional. Mugyeol wraps the neck. He pulls guard, dragging the giant down. Legs lock around the torso. The trap snaps shut. Airway crushed. Blood flow cut. Park goes from bullying to dying in 3 seconds. Panic sets in. Flailing hands. Tap. 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 A frantic rhythm of surrender. The gem goes silent. Mugyeol releases the hold. Park gasps on the floor, clutching his throat, defeated by a lucky rookie. The system chimes in Mugyeol's mind. Submission victory. 100 points. Mugyeol stands up. He isn't tired. He's barely warm. He looks at the stunned faces of the hunters. The coach, sweating now, calls the next name. Rank 30. The next man steps in, trying to look tough, but the fear is already taking root. Mugyeol doesn't see a fighter. He sees another 100 points walking toward him. The contract was for money. This match is for growth. The bell sounds. The hunt continues. The bell screams. The slaughter begins instantly. Jang Soo-hyun rushes forward. He trusts his reach. He trusts the hierarchy. He expects a frightened victim to crumble. He finds a spinning elbow instead. Mugyeol spins with the precision of a machine. Bone meets face. The impact is wet. Heavy. Soo-hyun stumbles back. His reality fractures in the first second. Before he can think, Mugyeol is on him. Mugyeol strikes. But he isn't just fighting. He is lecturing. He more delicate. Smack. Measure the distance. Smack. Every word is punctuated by a fist. Soo-hyun isn't fighting a student anymore. He is being dismantled by a master who finds his technique offensive. Mugyeol leaps. He ascends. He wraps his legs around Soo-hyun. A flying armbar. Gravity becomes a weapon. They crash to the canvas. The GM falls dead silent. A flying submission isn't the flailing of a novice. It is the signature of a predator. Soo-hyun panics. He tries to crush Mugyeol against the cage. He thinks the ground is his playground. But Mugyeol flows like water. He transitions the grip. The armbar dissolves. It reforms into an omoplata. The shoulder joint screams. Soo-hyun strains. His face turns purple. Veins bulge. He tries to power out. He expects resistance. He expects a struggle. But when he looks down, he sees only cold indifference. Mugyeol isn't even using full strength. He is simply waiting. The chain wrestling tightens. Mugyeol twists the screw. He reminds Soo-hyun of his own sin. You started with an elbow, didn't you? You sought to hurt. Now, you will be hurt. The logic is absolute. Soo-hyun's will shatters. He taps the mat frantically. The release is immediate. But the humiliation is permanent. Mugyeol stands. He is barely breathing hard. He looks at the crowd of fighters. They aren't looking at a victim anymore. They are looking at a monster wearing a student's skin. Chae-won-ji, the legend, watches from the shadows. His eyes narrow. He knows. The man in the cage is not the Cho Mugyeol who walked in weeks ago. The posture. The gaze. The breathing. Everything has changed. Mugyeol demands the next sacrifice. Nan-hyun steps forward. Rank 33. A boxing specialist. He enters with a sneer. He clings to his reach like a shield. He believes if he keeps it standing, he remains the hunter. Hunches only. He taunts Mugyeol. He thinks he is being generous. He thinks he is setting a trap. Mugyeol smiles. A boxer. Fine. The match begins. Nan-hyun throws a jab. Sharp. Practiced. Mugyeol does not retreat. He rolls his shoulder. The Philly shell. A stance used by masters to humiliate novices. Mugyeol deflects the blows with lazy elegance. To him, this isn't a fight. It is active recovery. It is a rest period. Nan-hyun realizes he is being played with. The rage builds. He swings harder. Wilder. Mugyeol sees every twitch. Every shift of weight. He waits for the opening. Flash. A single counter. It connects with the nose. Blood sprays across the canvas. Nan-hyun's head snaps back. His legs turn to jelly. He collapses. His boxing pedigree is meaningless against a superior striker. Mugyeol exhales. The rest is over. He feels refreshed. But the game is running out of brave men. Next is Hyo-jin. Dollar. Heavier. The seniors on the sidelines are desperate now. The atmosphere shifts. It is no longer hazing. It is survival. They whisper instructions to Hyo-jin. Forget the rules. Use everything. Just win. They want a street fight. Mugyeol hears them. He accepts the terms. Hyo-jin charges. Mugyeol does not block. He kicks. An oblique kick. He drives his heel directly into the knee joint. It is a vicious technique. Banned in sports. Designed to cripple. Hyo-jin gasps. His leg buckles. Before he can recover, Mugyeol faints. Fingers flicker toward the eyes. Handy. Hyojin flinches. He blinds himself with fear. Mugyeol steps in. A headbutt. Hard skull against soft nose. The crunch echoes in the quiet gem. Hyojin falls. Desperate. He tries to clinch. He tries to smother the strikes. He presses his face into Mugyeol's chest, hiding like a coward. Mugyeol does not care for defense. He drives a knee into the stomach. The air leaves the man's lungs. Then, Mugyeol secures the grip. He lifts. The slam is violent. It is the kind of move that ends careers. Hyojin hits the mat with the force of a car crash. His eyes roll back. He lies broken, staring at the ceiling lights. The gem erupts. This crosses the line. The hunters, who plan to send a student to the hospital, suddenly find their moral compass. They rush the cage. They grab Mugyeol. They pull him off the fallen fighter. They shout about manners. They shout about rules. Mugyeol shakes them off. He looks at them with genuine confusion. But why is he not allowed to do that? He lists their crimes. Elbows. Oblique kicks. Eye poking. Face stomping. They whispered these commands. They prepared these techniques for him. They brought torture into the cage. Now that the torture is turned upon them, they cry foul. Mugyeol's voice drops. It is the voice of the abyss. You wanted to attack ferociously. You wanted a victim. He steps toward them. The crowd flinches. If you want me dead, he says, then you must prepare to die as well. The logic of the battlefield. They wanted a wolf. Now the wolf is eating them. He looks around the gang. He smells the fear. It is thick and sweet. He stands alone in the center of the octagon. He asks if they want a royal rumble. Silence answers him. No one moves. No one speaks. The pack has been broken. Mugyeol turns his gaze to the only man who matters. The man at the top of the food chain. Taewon-ji. Mugyeol points a gloved finger. Get up here, he commands. I will destroy you. In the violent arithmetic of professional fighting, there is one variable that matters above all else. Estimation. It is the predator's instinct. The ability to look at another man and measure the depth of the grave he can dig. When a veteran looks at a rookie, he doesn't just see flesh and bone. He looks for the spark. He looks for the crushing, heavy-handed power of a Francis Ngannou, or the suffocating, inescapable wrestling of a Kemsa Chime. Taewon-ji stood at the top of the food chain in this gem. He made his estimation. He looked at Mugyeol Cha and saw a simple equation. A striker. A boxer with lead in his gloves but nothing else. A distinct, manageable threat. But then the sparring begins. And the estimation crumbles into dust. Mugyeol doesn't move like a student. He moves like a natural disaster. He tears through the octagon. The other gym members, fighters who should have been obstacles, are reduced to traffic cones. They are dismantled. Terrifying efficiency. It isn't just boxing anymore. The clumsiness. The awkward stumble between striking and grappling. Vanished. It has been replaced by a fluid, lethal continuity. Taewon-ji watches from the safety of the ropes. The sweat on his brow isn't from the heat. It is a cold, dawning realization. In 1 year, in the span of a single year, the boy hasn't just evolved. He has mutated. He has bridged gaps that take veterans a lifetime to cross. The stamina. The technique. The ferocity. It defies logic. When Gi realizes the line is getting shorter. His turn is coming. He looks at his own hands. Then he looks at the monster tearing through his subordinates. A question forms in the silence of his mind. Can it stop him? The answer terrifies him. Mugyeol drops his current opponent. He doesn't celebrate. He turns. He locks eyes with the deputy director. The invitation is issued without a word. Let us fight. The game goes dead silent. The air turns into lead. Mugyeol stands waiting. His breathing is controlled. His gaze is heavy. He points out the obvious. When Gi is warmed up, there is no physical reason to say no. But there is a mental one. The predator has become the prey. Survival instinct overrides pride. Won Gi forces a smile. A sick, plastic thing that doesn't reach his eyes. He waves a hand. That's enough. He declares the session over. He claims it ran too long. He dismisses the fighters. Confusion ripples through the room. The members whisper. They look at their leader. They expect him to step into the cage. They expect him to humble the arrogant newcomer. They offer him his gloves. Won-ji snaps. He shouts them down. He asks if they expect a veteran to brawl with a monster in a casual sparring session. He turns his back, but the truth is written in the rigid tension of his shoulders. He is running away. He walks toward the exit. Desperate. He needs a wall between himself and the creature in the octagon. Then, it happens. A single word cuts through the air. Idiot. Mugyeol whispers it. But in the quiet gym, it strikes like a whip. Won-ji freezes. His face contorts. Rage spikes. Veins bulge against his collar. He heard it. He knows exactly what it means. It is a challenge to his manhood, to his status, to his very existence as a fighter. And yet, he keeps walking. He swallows the insult. He eats the shame. Because the fear of what happens in that cage is stronger than his pride. Later, the scene shifts. The traditional residence of Chairman Jang. Serene. Poise. A stark contrast to the sweat and blood of the den. Won-ji is on his knees. Head bowed to the floor. He begs the president for a match. He frames it carefully. He speaks in the language of loyalty. Discipline. He claims Mugyeol is arrogant. That the boy needs a lesson. That he wants to break him for the good of the hierarchy. But internally, Won-ji admits the pathetic truth. He didn't refuse the fight in the gym to protect Mugyeol. He refused because he was afraid of being hurt. He was afraid that the precious asset he brought from the television show would break him in front of his subordinates. The shame is eating him alive. He realizes he cannot call himself a fighter if he lives with this memory. He needs the cage. He needs the rules. He needs the lights to give him back his courage. Chairman Jang, the architect of this chaos, places a hand on Won-ji's shoulder. He offers words of comfort. But his eyes are cold, calculating. He doesn't care about Won-ji's honor. He cares about the narrative. Mugyeol Cha is a hot issue. The public is watching. The chairman sees the potential. If Won-ji, a seasoned professional, steps in to crush the rising star, the glory will be immense. It is a business transaction disguised as vengeance. He grants the request. Save your anger for the cage. Won-ji leaves, re-energized by the promise of sanctioned violence. The chairman sits alone. He pours a drink. He calls for his secretary, Mugyeol Cha. The order is given. The match between Won-ji and Mugyeol Cha. It will be the main event of the next major card. The chairman sips his drink. Satisfied. He will use Won-ji to do the dirty work he cannot do himself. He will let the dogs tear each other apart for his profit. News travels fast in the information age. At the RFK offices, the staff processes the announcement. Teammates fighting teammates. It's bizarre. But they rationalize it. Money rules this industry. Just look at the West. Fighters sell out their own grandmothers for a pay-per-view point. A female employee, sharp and manipulative, sees an opportunity. Gossip is circulating among the Asian fanbase. Rumors. They say the reality show Mugyeol participated in was fabricated. That the fights were rigged to create a star. She smiles. Controversy creates cash. She decides to pour fuel on the fire. She circulates the rumors. She wants the world to wonder. Is the monster real? Or is he just a special effect? The signal crosses the ocean. North America. Inside a high-tech studio. Ariel Watson sits before a bank of monitors. He is the proprietor of a major martial arts magazine. Host of the rigorous radio show Fightcast. They call him the manipulator of the martial arts world. He is cynical. He has seen it all. He hears the rumors of the circus strategies in the Asian leagues. Amateurs pretending to be pros. Rigged narratives. Fake drama. He sighs. He is bored by the degradation of the sport he loves. His staff brings up the video of Mugyeol. They mention the rumors of manipulation. Watson decides to watch. He expects a comedy. He expects to see clumsy actors pretending to fight. He clicks the mouse. The footage plays. Watson's expression is bored. Indifferent. Then, his eyes narrow. He sees the footwork. It isn't the stepping of an amateur. It is precise. Efficient. He sees the boxing. The hands are fast. The trajectory is clean. Then he sees the finish. The body shot that folds the opponent. The follow-through. The absolute devastation of the impact. The cynicism evaporates from Ariel Watson's face. His eyes go white. A grin stretches across his bearded face. Not a grin of mockery, but of discovery. He realizes the rumors are wrong. The show might be a circus. But the beast in the center ring. He is real. Watson has found something rare in the wasteland of modern entertainment. He has found a gem. A true monster has arrived on the world stage. The world outside screams with noise. Inside the small snack shop, there is only the rhythmic sound of chewing. Mugyeol Cha eats. Calm. Detached. Across the table, Mina is losing her mind. She feels the invisible currents of the internet tightening around them. She scolds him. She hates his indifference. To her, his silence is maddening. She shows him the screen. The leeches are at work. Unauthorized channels are stealing his content, ripping the violence from his videos to feed their own subscriber counts. She scrolls through the list of thieves. Most are nobodies. Then, her finger freezes. The screen displays a name that carries the weight of an entire industry. Fight Dog Magazine. 3 million subscribers. The realization hits her like a physical slap. This isn't just a repost. The algorithm has fed the predator. Ariel Watson. The king of the lightweight division. He has seen the video. And he has spoken. Mugyeol takes the phone. He looks at the face of the man standing at the summit he intends to conquer. Surprise flickers across his eyes, then vanishes, replaced by the cold calculation of a hunter spotting a shortcut. This isn't just fame. This is a ladder. The interview wasn't a conversation. It was a declaration of war, broadcast globally. He smiles. The path has just become shorter. The scene shifts. The game. A breeding ground for sweat and arrogance. The air is thick with gossip. Fires with more muscle than foresight stand in circles, mocking the high schooler. To them, Mugyeol is a joke. A child aiming for the heavyweight belt. They laugh, unaware that the hierarchy they worship is already crumbling beneath their feet. Mugyeol enters the locker room. The atmosphere dies instantly. The deputy director is waiting. A man whose authority is built on paper contracts, not blood. He is shaking with rage. He accuses Mugyeol of madness. He screams about protocols and permissions. How dare he conduct an interview without approval? Mugyeol's response is barely a whisper. Is it in the contract? The silence is heavy. The director stammers. He mumbles about standard procedures. Mugyeol cuts him off. Their contract is not standard. Because he is not a standard fighter. The director's face twists. Humiliation burns him. He tries to pivot. He attempts to lecture the boy on morality. On the character of a martial artist. On respect. It is a fatal mistake. Mugyeol remembers. He remembers the time before the strength. When he was paralyzed in a hospital bed. When this same man laughed at him. The hypocrisy hangs in the air, thick and suffocating. Cornered by his own past cruelty, the director lashes out with his only remaining weapon. Administrative power. Probation. He bans Mugyeol from the facilities. He cuts him off from his training ground weeks before his professional debut. The director smiles. He thinks this is checkmate. He thinks he has crippled the boy's preparation. Mugyeol sees through the sabotage. He smiles. A jagged expression that does not reach his eyes. Are you that afraid of me? The director snaps. He lunges. He grabs Mugyeol by the collar, seeking to intimidate the child. But the child is gone. The thing standing in front of him is made of iron, an instinct. Mugyeol's hand rises. He grips the director's wrist. He doesn't strike. He simply squeezes. The pressure is immense. The director's arm trembles. Bones grind against each other. It is a silent display of overwhelming physical superiority. Mugyeol shoves him away. He suggests that for the sake of the game, he should be the one to leave. He turns his back on the trembling authority figure. Scaredy cat. The insult hangs in the air. The director stands alone in the locker room, clutching his crushed wrist. A red handprint is burned into his skin. A mark of shame. He tries to mutter that the boy is a brat. But his body mimics the truth. He felt the power. And he is terrified. Mugyeol steps out into the cold. Exile. But the system that governs his new life does not care about game memberships. A blue window manifests in the air. Invisible to the world. Only for him. Event. Accumulated 500 points exceeded. Match protocol released. A new skill. Unlocked. The ripples of his exile spread fast. The internet is a cruel place. Rumors swirl. Comments stack up. People mock the high schooler kicked out of his gym before he even stepped into the ring. They predict failure. They laugh. The digital world is a coliseum, and the spectators are hungry for blood. Across the city, Chae Won-ji sits in his office. His manager is worried. Standard strategy says when two fighters from the same gym clash, one moves. She wants to investigate Mugyeol's new training camp. Wonju refuses. His arrogance is absolute. He doesn't view this as a sport. He views it as an execution. He admits he was arrogant before, but he believes focus is enough to guarantee victory. He dismisses the threat. Silence usually precedes destruction, and Wonji is talking too much. Meanwhile, the media machine turns. Mugyeol's interview goes viral, propelled by the endorsement of a real Watson. The narrative flips. Mugyeol is no longer just a rookie. He is a symbol. He claimed to represent the we. He promised to fight for the bullied and the outcasted. The public eats it up. They see a hero. They do not see the monster lurking beneath the skin. Pay-per-view sales skyrocket across Asia and North America. The world is watching. But where is the fighter? In a classroom, Mugyeol Cha sleeps on a desk. His classmates look at him with pity. They think he has given up. They think he is lazy. They whisper that he must be dreaming. They are half right. He is dreaming. But it is not peaceful. Inside the match preparation protocol, a virtual space constructed by the system, Mugyeol is in hell. He is shirtless. Muscles straining under the crushing weight of a massive log. A trainer stands over him. System construct in sunglasses and a red cap. The trainer screams. He mocks Mugyeol's steed. He demands aggression. He questions his right to exist as a fighter. 20th repetition. 10th set. Mugyeol's mind screams in agony. The virtual reality is indistinguishable from the physical world. The pain is real. The exhaustion is absolute. The trainer's eyes widen with demonic intensity. He demands Mugyeol exceed his limits. This protocol is a cheat code written in sweat and blood. It offers two paths: practical sparring or physical training. Mugyeol chose the pain. The terrifying advantage of this space is time. The virtual world operates 5 times slower than reality. For every hour that passes in the classroom, Mugyeol endures 5 hours of bone-breaking conditioning in the dark. He wakes up. The sun is setting. His real body itches, a phantom echo of the virtual torture. But as he walks down the street, he feels the change. The recovery speed of his possessed body is supernatural. The bones are denser. The muscles are woven tighter. The growth is exponential. He clenches his fist. He feels the raw power coursing through the cis-level potential of his vessel. He is stronger than he was yesterday. And the world is about to find out. He stops. A figure blocked his path on the sidewalk. A large man, thick neck, covered in tattoos. A polo shirt straining against Ball. Choi Seok-do. A former Rafi member. A remnant of the violent past. Seok-do sneers. He recognizes the boy. He speaks with the casual disrespect of a bully who hadn't realized the food chain has been rearranged. He asks if Mugyeol remembers him. Mugyeol remains silent. Seok-do gets angry. He demands a fight. Right there. On the pavement. Mugyeol looks at the man. He does not see a threat. He does not see a rifle. He suggests they move. He doesn't want to fight in the street like a gangster. He mentions a quiet place in Abgujong. A blind spot. He asks if the man is scared. The taunt lands perfectly. Seok-do flares. He agrees, believing he is leading a lamb to the slaughter. He vows to teach the boy a lesson. He points a finger in Mugyeol's face. They walk together under the streetlights. Seok-do walks with a swagger, convinced of his dominance. Mugyeol walks with his hands in his pockets. His expression is unreadable to the man beside him. But to the darkness, it is clear. He isn't worried. He is pleased. He just found a free sandbag. The virtual training built the engine. But a fighter needs to test the machine on something that bleeds. Mugyeol's eyes narrow. A small, cruel smile touches his lips. Time to try something practical. The predator has found his prey. The cage door is open. Mugyeol Cha stands before the octagon, hands deep in his pockets. He observes the insects who believe they are lions. Inside the gym, a mountain waits. Seokjin man. Ranked 8th in the league. 193 centimeters of violence. Beside him, a man in a green tracksuit plays the role of a polite senior. The senior invites Mugyeol closer. His voice drips with false courtesy. He thanks the boy for accepting the invitation. But the eyes tell a different story. To them, Mugyeol is meat. A high school student to be broken. The senior mentions an unpaid debt. He suggests they settle it inside the octagon. It is a trap thinly veiled as sport. Mugyeol shakes the heavyweight's hand. The size difference is comical. Jin Man is thick with muscle. Mugyeol looks like a slender reed. The senior suggests a warm-up. He feigns concern for the student. He claims he is not cruel enough to beat him immediately. He offers the facilities. Mugyeol agrees with a flat expression. To the darkness. His compliance is not submission. It is patience. The terms are set. Full contact. No headgear. No shin guards. Street fight rules. The heavyweight asks if Mugyeol agrees. The answer is a simple yes. The bell rings in silence. Jin Man takes his stance. Heavy. Imposing. Mugyeol stands opposite him. Something shifts in the air. The giant's instinct should be screaming. But his arrogance deafens him. Jin Man launches the first strike. A heavy left hook intended to crush. Mugyeol does not retreat. He weaves. Minimal movement. Efficient. The fist sails harmlessly past his face. Mugyeol analyzes the motion. His body feels different. It is sharper. The gap between his consciousness, the soul of a champion, and this borrowed teenage vessel is closing. The hardware has finally caught up to the software. Jin Man swings again. Mugyeol slips inside the guard. He pushes the engine to red line. He throws a flicker jab. It snaps out like a whip, bypassing defense entirely. The impact cracks against Jin Man's face. The senior washes from the sidelines. His smile fades. He recognizes the technique. A flicker jab. But he still underestimates the danger. Mugyeol continues the dissection. He compares these men to real fighters from his past life. They are disappointing. They are slow. Jin Man loses his temper. Humiliated by a jab. He screams obscenities. He rushes forward, abandoning technique for brute force. A fatal mistake. Mugyeol vanishes from his sight line. He slips the clumsy haymaker. He steps in close. Before Jin Man can retract his arm, Mugyeol has taken his back. Fluid. Like water flowing over stone. The rear naked choke is locked instantly. Jin Man's eyes bulge. The technique is perfect. Mugyeol applies pressure. He could end it here. He could put the beast to sleep. But where is the lesson in that? Mugyeol loosens the grip slightly. Just enough to let oxygen return. Then he tightens it again. He is playing with his food. The senior shouts from outside the cage, demanding to know what he is doing. Mugyeol looks up. His expression is cold. He reminds the senior of his own words. Grudges must be relieved inside the octagon. Mugyeol is simply taking his opportunity. He releases the choke. He pushes the gasping heavyweight away. He taunts him. Calls him a gangster. Urges him to work harder. Jin Man's face twists in rage. He charges again. A bull seeing red. The senior screams advice, telling him to think. Useless advice for a dead man walking. Mugyeol meets the charge. He weaves under a sloppy hook. Drives a fist into the liver. A kick to the leg. He is dismantling the mountain piece by piece. The senior panics. He enters the cage. He shouts for them to stop. He grabs Mugyeol's arm. He acts as if he is saving the boy. He asks Mugyeol to count fingers, checking for a concussion. In reality, he is saving his own fighter. Mugyeol slaps the hand away. He says he is fine. He apologizes sarcastically. It would be wrong to end the sparring here. The grudge is not yet finished. He turns back to Jin Man. The heavyweight leans against the fence, bleeding, exhausted. Fear has finally replaced anger. He looks to his senior for salvation. He begs him to stop this. But the senior is cornered by his own pride. He cannot intervene without losing face. He tells Jin Man to finish it himself. He throws his own fighter to the wolves. Jin Man realizes he is alone. He screams a desperate war cry. He throws a final, desperate punch. Mugyeol steps in. He throws a counter punch with 18-ounce gloves. The sound is like a gunshot. A heady, sickening thud echoes through the game. Jin Man's face ripples. Blood sprays. He does not fall immediately, held up only by the cage and his own mass. The senior watches pale. The sound was wrong. That kind of noise does not come from sparring gloves. It comes from lethal intent. Mugyeol does not stop. He strikes again. And again. He tells the heavyweight not to pass out. He demands he endure it. A kick to the stomach folds the large man in half. A punch to the face snaps his head back. It is a one-sided massacre. The bully has become the victim. The predator is feasting. Finally, The senior cannot watch as a set be destroyed any longer. He physically steps between them. Mugyeol stands back, his chest barely heaving. The lesson is delivered. Later, in a quiet office, the senior and the deputy director watch the footage. The atmosphere is heavy with disbelief. They look at the broken heavyweight. They try to rationalize how a student 10 kilograms layer could dominate him. The deputy director watches Mugyeol's movement on the screen. He sees the improvement. This is not the same boy. This is a monster. They question if he is on drugs. But the deputy director is cunning. He commands them to cut the video. They will edit it. Isolate the chaotic moments. Upload it anonymously. They intend to slander Mugyeol. To paint him as unskilled trash to the public. To hide the reality of his dominance. They believe they can control the narrative. They believe they can suppress the monster with video editing and rumors. They do not realize that the darkness comes for them all. Silence precedes destruction. And they are making too much noise. The digital guillotine falls. The footage hits the servers, edited with surgical precision. It is a weaponized video file, crafted in a corporate boardroom to assassinate a reputation, before it can even take its first breath. The deputy director places his hand. He strips away the context. He deletes the provocation. He isolates the second round of the sparring match, leaving only the chaos. On the screen, Mugyeol Cha looks like a wild animal. He looks like an immature flailing against a veteran. He looks arrogant. SC. A thug who doesn't respect the sanctity of the sport. The plan is simple. Rely on the public's apathy. Rely on their 10-second attention span. They want a villain to mock, and the director has served them one on a silver platter. But the plan has a fatal flaw. Violence, when it is real, speaks a language that cannot be edited. The video spreads. The view count ticks upward like a bomb timer. But the comments section does not fill with laughter. It does not fill with mockery. It fills with silence. And then, fear. The viewers aren't seeing a fail compilation. They are witnessing the raw, uninhibited aggression of the real fight championship. They see Mugyeol dismantling Choi Suk-do. They see the speed, the impact, the brutality that borders on criminal intent. A comment floats to the top. Is this a sport? Or is he trying to kill him? Another follows. I've never seen a high schooler move like that. That's not fighting. That's hunting. The corporate suits wanted dismissal. Instead, they generated the wary respect accorded to an apex predator. They tried to paint him as a clown, but they accidentally revealed a monster. Mugyeol sits in the darkness of the game. The blue light of his phone illuminates his face. He scrolls. Arrogant thug. Needs to be taught a lesson. Just a kid with anger issues. He stops scrolling. He understands the mechanics of this game instantly. The agency holds the master files. They control the narrative. He is a soldier on a battlefield where he has no ammunition. Frustration rises in his chest. A cold, sharp spike of anger. He decides, then and there. If they want a thug, he will give them a devil. If he cannot win with words, he will simply beat every single detractor into a coma until the only sound left is silence. But the darkness has eyes. Variables the corporation failed to calculate. A notification pings. A new upload. An unknown user. The title is crude, unpolished. Cha Mugyeol is tattooed pig. Full version. Flashback. The alleyway behind the game. The heat of the afternoon. Mugyeol had finished his work. The adrenaline was fading. Two children approached him. They were small. Insignificant. Just background noise in the city. They held a cheap, dog-eared English textbook. They didn't look at him with the judgment of the internet. They looked at him with trembling eyes. The pure, terrifying awe of the innocent standing next to a loaded gun. Can we get an autograph? Mugyeol had paused. He took the pen. He signed the textbook. He looked at them. Don't become like that gangster I just beat up. A simple transaction. A moment of fan service. He sent them home, and forgot them. He didn't know he had just purchased his salvation. The children hadn't just watched. They had recorded. From a high window. Safe from the violence. A smartphone lens captured everything. The raw file is online. It shows the beginning. It shows Choi Suk-do refusing to fight properly. It shows the mockery. It shows the cheating. And then it shows the punishment. The context snaps into place. The public opinion doesn't just shift. It teleports. The narrative of the arrogant thug disintegrates. It is replaced by something far more marketable. The Vigilant. The comments turn instantly. He wasn't bullying him. He was teaching a cheater a lesson. Justice served. That kick was clean. Mugyeol watches the tide turn in real time. A signature on a $3 textbook has yielded a return on investment that defies calculation. He smiles in the dark. The world wants a show. He will give them a blockbuster. Scene shift. The press conference. The room is suffocating. Flashbulbs pop like strobe lights. The air buzzes with an electric tension that usually only precedes a title fight, not a debut. 18 years old. The center of gravity. Foreign reporters crowd the aisles. John Shelby from Octafite, the bubble of ma journalism, holds the microphone. This is no longer domestic squabble. Ariel Watson's influence, combined with the viral violence, has elevated this into an international incident. Shelby speaks. He addresses Mugyeol in English. He asks about the video, the editing, the sensation, the bullying allegations. The translator steps forward, sweating, ready to dilute the question. Mugyeol raises a hand. He doesn't look at the translator. He looks directly into the lens of the international camera. And he speaks. Fluent. Perfect. English. It was a war of nerves, he says, his accent flawless. A futile attempt to shake me. It failed. He addresses the autograph. It was the only paper they had. I signed it. The room goes dead silent. The reporters expected a grunt. They expected a monosyllabic brute who needs a handler to construct a sentence. Instead, they are looking at an intellectual who navigates the press with the same precision he uses to navigate a chokehold. Ariel Watson watches from the side. A smirk cuts across her face. He checks every box. Look. Power. Charisma. Intelligence. He is a product that sells itself. But there is one man in the room who is not smiling. Jae-won-gi. The veteran. The champion. He sits next to the boy, simmering in a pot of his own resentment. He is the main event. He is the headliner. But he is being treated like a prop in Mugyeol's coronation ceremony. He hates the boy's confidence. He hates his face. He hates the fluent English that makes him feel small and uneducated. Slam. Jae-won-ji's fist hits the table. The sound echoes like a gunshot, startling the room. He stands up. His face is red. Enough. He yells. Why are you asking him about gossip? Ask about the fight. He points a shaking finger at the reporters. Focus on the violence. I'm going to destroy this kid in the cage. I'm the one who went viral first. I'm the star here. It is a desperate, ugly plea for attention. Mugyeol turns his head slowly. His expression is bored. Devoid of fear. Devoid of respect. He looks at the screaming veteran and asks a simple question. A question that cuts through the noise like a scalpel. Why do you think they aren't asking about the match outcome? Jae-won-gi freezes. What? Mugyeol leans into the microphone. His voice drops. It is a lethal, calm baritone. It is because they already know who will win. The insult lands with the weight of a sledgehammer. Mugyeol continues. He reminds the room of the past. You remember the reality show. You remember my hands around your throat. Jae-won-gi stammers. That was a handicapped match. The rules were different. Mugyeol's eyes narrow. The predator surfaces. Handicap or not, Mugyeol whispers, amplified by the speakers to a deafening volume. I still broke your neck, didn't I? The room gasps. Mugyeol isn't finished. He begins to dismantle the veteran's pride, piece by piece. Look around you, senior. The cameras. The foreign press. The height. Do you think they are here for you? He gestures to the crowd. They are here because of your failure. Your loss in the show built the stage. The edited video you tried to use against me built this audience. Mugyeol smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. Thank you, singer. You paved the road for my glory with your own humiliation. And tomorrow, you will do it again. You will hand me the victory. Total destruction. Jae-won-gi snaps. He lunges. He screams profanities. He tries to scramble over the table, eyes rolling back in rage. Security swarms him. Staff members drag him back. He is foaming at the mouth. Defeated mentally days before the first bell rings. The internet explodes. Clips of the verbal takedown spread faster than the fight footage. Mugyeol's trash talk is rated tier. Tickets sell out in minutes. Pay-per-view numbers climb vertically. The destruction has been monetized perfectly. Match day. The arena is a pressure cooker. Thousands of bodies packed into the dark, screaming for blood. The air is thick with the metallic taste of adrenaline. In the tunnel, Mugyeol stands in his robe. His coach is beside him, wiping sweat from a bald head. The coach is shaking. The scale of the event is crushing him. How is your breathing? The coach stammers. Are you nervous? Don't let the crowd get to you. Mugyeol looks at him. His eyes are dead calm. Deep pools of black wire. I am not nervous at all. He finds it strange. The people watching are trembling. The coach is trembling. The opponent is trembling. But the man walking into the fire feels nothing. He steps out. The lights hit him. The roar of the crowd hits him like a physical wave. A sea of noise. He walks to the octagon. The canvas is rough under his bare feet. He runs the diagnostics in his mind. Preparation protocol. Complete. Stamina. Optimized. Power output. Heat. The system overlays the reality. Winning probability. And he person. He steps through the cage door. He inserts his mouthpiece. He bites down. Across the cage, Chae-won-ji is pacing. He looks angry. He looks emotional. He looks desperate to prove that he is still the king. Mugyeol looks ready to work. A brief image flashes in his mind's eye. A spectral form. The ghost of the professional fighter whose memories now live in Mugyeol's neurons. The ghost stands behind Chae-won-ji, judging him. Fate has dragged them to this cage. The referee steps back. He raises his hand. Fight. Mugyeol launches. There is no feeling out process. There is no circling. The talking is done. The press conference is a memory. The internet comments don't exist in this square. The silence of the preparation is over. Now, only the violence remains. The match to decide the true owner of the octagon has begun. Calculations mean nothing when the variables change. Chae-won-ji stands in the center of the octagon. He is wrapped in the arrogance of a man who believes he controls the geometry of the fight. He measures the distance. In his mind, the equation is simple. He has the reach. He dictates the range. He will block the aggression, keep the gap wide, and punish any clumsy attempt to close in. He convinces himself that if he simply maintains distance, victory is inevitable. He is wrong. The bell barely fades before Mugyeol Cha dismantles the premise. There is no hesitation. No tentative probing. Mugyeol launches forward. The safety gap vanishes. Fists collide with flesh. Won-ji is forced to retreat, his calculations shattering under the immediate pressure of violence. He attempts to recalibrate. Watch for the kicks, he tells himself. He expects the strikes of a novice. Easy to predict. Easy to catch. He plans to seize a leg and drive the rookie into the ground. But when Mugyeol throws a middle kick, reality asserts itself. The impact is heavy. The speed is blinding. This is not the technique of the beginner. The kick slams into Won-ji's guard, shaking his bones. He realizes with dawning horror that these weapons have been upgraded. He cannot catch them. He can barely survive them. Panic begins to tick away in his mind alongside the clock. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remain. To a man being hunted, that is an eternity. Won-ji tries to back away. He tries to buy time. But the octagon is a finite space. Mugyeol pursues. He strikes low. A calf kick digs into the leg, chopping at the foundation. Balance falters. The retreat becomes a stumble. Mugyeol hurts him toward the black wire of the cage. The predator has cornered the prey. Trapped against the fence, Chae-won-ji becomes a stationary target. Mugyeol unleashes a clinic. Hooks dig into the body. Straights snap the head back. A deep kick drives the breath from his lungs. The crowd watches it dismantling. The veteran fighter looks like a child covering his head in a storm. His corner screams desperate advice. Use the reach. Restore the distance. But there is no room left to run. Desperation forces an error. Won-ji attempts to box his way out. He throws a front hand counter. A predictable lash of fear. Mugyeol sees it coming. He moves his head. A smooth, practiced slip. The glove grazes the air. In the same motion, Mugyeol drives a counter punch into the jaw. A slit punch. A technique of masters. The impact rocks Won-ji to his core. The realization hits the spectators before it hits the fighter. The rookie isn't just strong. He is dominating every aspect of the game. His vision swimming. Won-ji abandons striking. He lunges forward, crashing his body into Mugyeol. He digs for an underhook, wrapping his arm tight. He seeks the clinch. If he cannot strike, he will crush. He believes his physical strength, his weight, will be enough to grind the boy down against the cage. He thinks he has found a lifeline. He has only tethered himself to an anchor. Mugyeol does not budge. He stands immovable against the wrestling attempt. Then, he shifts his hips. He explodes upward. The strength difference is absolute. Mugyeol lifts the heavier man off his feet. Gravity inverts. He arches back and slams Chae-won-ji into the canvas with a perfect suplex. The sound of the impact echoes through the arena. Won-ji writhes on the floor. Battered. Mind reeling. Yet, the instinct to survive flickers one last time. He scrambles. He grabs Mugyeol's arm. He threads his legs. And armbar. He locks the joint, hyperextending the elbow. For a split second, a delusion of victory seizes him. He thinks he has caught the wolf in a trap. He thinks the leverage will save him. Mugyeol looks down at the desperate struggle with cold, empty eyes. He does not pull away. He does not tap. He simply stands up. With Chae-won-ji still clinging to his arm, Mugyeol rises to his full height. He lifts the opponent entirely off the ground. Won-ji dangles in the air. His submission hold turns into a precarious suspension. He stares up eyes wide, realizing too late that leverage requires the earth. And he has been severed from it. Mugyeol finishes it. He slams Chae-won-ji down. A power bomb that shakes the foundations of the ring. The back of Won-ji's head meets the mat with catastrophic force. His eyes roll back. His mouth guard flies across the cage. The lights go out. Mugyeol releases the limb. He stands over the unconscious body of the man who thought he could calculate a victory. The silence returns. Heavy and absolute. The dominance is total. The sound of a body hitting the canvas shatters the silence. Chae-won-ji is down. A veteran. A top contender. His legacy crumbles in a single instant. But Mugyeol isn't satisfied with a win. He wants a rasher. He descends. He mounts the fallen fighter, trapping Won-ji under his weight. The veteran's eyes widen. Realization comes too late. Mugyeol's fist rises. And falls. 1 strike. 2. 3. Blood sprays across the mat. There is no hesitation here. Only the mechanical efficiency of violence. The referee dives in, throwing his body between the predator and the prey to stop the massacre. The crowd erupts. They scream for the spectacle. They don't realize they are cheering for a monster in the making. High in the stands, Mugyeol's father trembles. He sees the destructive power his son now wields. And he is terrified. Mugyeol stands up. His face is void of joy. He takes the microphone. His breathing is steady. When asked for his feelings, he offers no excitement. He says he expected this result. He plays the role. The humble student. Thanking his mentor. Thanking his father. It is a carefully constructed mask. Beneath the guise of a grateful son, his eyes are scanning. Hunting. He checks the VIP section. He finds him. Han Dae-geun. The champion. Mugyeol raises the microphone. He does not ask for a match. He demands a title shot. The audacity silences the crowd. The champion stares down from his pedestal. He scoffs. He talks about rankings. Procedures. The line that must be respected. He hides behind the bureaucracy of the league. He refuses to step into the cage with an unknown variable. He says Mugyeol must earn his place. It is the response of a man trying to convince himself he isn't afraid. Later. The battlefield shifts. A corporate office. Mugyeol sits across from Chairman Jang. The air is thick. Mugyeol is not here to beg. He is here to dictate. He proposes a contract. Matches. He demands a 70-30 split of the revenue. The chairman laughs at the absurdity. Until Mugyeol places his own life on the scales. A condition. If he loses a single match out of the 7 leading to the title, he forfeits everything. All earnings. Every right. He will submit to any contract the chairman desires. A wager of absolute confidence. Chairman Jang sees a foolish boy walking into a trap. He accepts. But his mind is already churning. He needs to ensure the boy's defeat. The chairman plots in the shadows. He cannot allow this upstart to disrupt business. He sifts through his roster. He bypasses the champion. He needs a weapon. He finds the perfect counter. Back at the training ground, the hierarchy has shifted. The bullies who once tormented Mugyeol now approach with heads bowed. They do not seek to fight. They seek to serve. They offer themselves as human punching bags. Desperate to learn the secret of his strength. Mugyeol accepts their submission. They are useful tools. Nothing more. Alone in the gym, the air ripples. The interface manifests. 1,120 points. The currency of his evolution. He analyzes the data. Striking is not enough. To dominate the modern era, he needs to control the ground. He thinks of the history of the sport. How jiu-jitsu gave way to wrestling. He makes his choice. 500 points pour into his wrestling skill. D+ rises to his level. Knowledge floods his mind. His muscles memorize the mechanics of leverage. Gravity. He is becoming a complete fighter. His phone rings. It is his mentor. The chairman has made his move. The next match is set. It isn't the title fight. The opponent is chosen with malicious intent. The name is Ibrahim Mahmouda. Mugyeol freezes. The name echoes through the memories of the fighter possessing his body. Ibrahim is the brother of Aslam Mahmouda. Aslam was the man who broke the original fighter. The one who left him paralyzed. The one who destroyed his life. The chairman hasn't just booked a fight. He has resurrected a ghost. Mugyeol stares at the floor. The blood of two souls boils within him. This is no longer just a sport. It is an execution waiting to happen. The roar of the crowd is a lie. It sounds like love. It is merely the sound of wolves baying for fresh meat. In the center of the cage, the hierarchy is absolute. Han Dae-gyun, the so-called prince of the middle level, stands tall. Beneath him, Jae-jun Seok lies broken. The whispers begin in the stands. They dissect the carnage. Broken ribs. Foolish pride. They say the loser fought with a hidden fracture. A pre-existing injury masked by arrogance. They call it the heart of a champion. I call it the stupidity of prey walking into a slaughterhouse. Han's victory was total. The defensive match ended by blunt trauma. He is the gatekeeper of this violent world. Han grabs the microphone. His chest heaves. Sweat glistens under the harsh stadium lights. He speaks of distance and preparation. He feigns respect for the man he just dismantled. Then, the mask slips. He mocks the we. His eyes scan the darkness of the audience. Hunting. He knows someone is watching. He knows a challenger is rising from the depths. He issues a decree. The title match is sacred ground. And should this new challenger climb the mountain of corpses to reach him, Han vows to break him. A promise of destruction, delivered with a smile. But there are monsters in this world far older than a local champion. In a quiet room, the brokers discuss the landmines. Fighters with no rank. No fame. Just danger. Men from the Caucasus. Men who wrestle before they learn to speak. Thick bones. Dense muscle. They drag you into deep water and let you drown. One such monster waits. Ibrahim Mahmouda. He drinks with the indifference of a predator. More bear than human. He carries a cursed bloodline. His brother, Aslam, once broke a champion's spine and left him a ghost. Paralysis. Ruined lives. That is the Mahmoudov legacy. When asked about doping, Ibrahim just smirks. The question is a joke. He shakes the benefactor's hand. He promises violence. He vows to beat his enemy like a dog. The headline is set. Mugyeol Cha versus the monster. Under the sterile dim lights, the trap is revealed. The intel is damning. Ibrahim has a rib injury. A medical suspension is waiting. This isn't a sport. It's a cash out. A setup to humiliate a rising star before vanishing. Jin-soo wraps Mugyeol's hands. He asks the dangerous question. The name. Mugyeol Cha. The same name as the tragedy. The same name as the victim. Jin-soo speaks with the foolish candor of the living. He pities the fallen champion. He mocks his stiff hips. Calls him a bulldozer with a glass jaw. He has no idea. The ghost inside Mugyeol listens. He hears his own legacy being dismantled by his subordinate. A bitter pill. Swallowed in silence. Jin-soo laughs, unaware he is insulting the very man teaching him. The ghost decides to correct the record. Not with words, but with pain. The scene shifts. The press conference. The air smells of corruption. Ibrahim sits behind the table. Mugyeol scans him. The signs are written on the flesh. Distended belly. Visceral hypertrophy. Palamboism. The mark of a man pumping his veins with growth hormone and insulin. He isn't just a fighter. He is a walking chemistry experiment. Rotting from the inside out to achieve unnatural power. A reporter asks for a comment. Ibrahim is dismissive. He looks at Mugyeol and sees only meat. He throws a lazy slur about nationality. Arrogance born of ignorance. Then, the reporter strikes a nerve. She asks about his brother. She asks about the bare-knuckle match. She asks about the man he paralyzed. The room freezes. Ibrahim's eyes narrow. Apologize. He calls it bad luck. He claims there are no accidents in the cage. He justifies the destruction of a human life as the cost of doing business. He mocks the shared name. He suggests that perhaps men named Mugyeol are simply fated to die. He crushes the microphone in his hand. Chemically induced rage. Mugyeol speaks. Perfect English. Cutting through the tension like a razor. He agrees with the monster. Once they step into the octagon, there are no accidents. If he breaks Ibrahim's skull open, that will not be an accident either. Ibrahim freezes. The prey has bitten back. Mugyeol's voice is calm. Heavy. He tells Ibrahim that match day will be his execution. A calculated insult to pierce the bear's thick hide. Ibrahim snaps. The drugs flood his system. Reason dissolves. Roid rage. He lunges across the table. A mountain of flesh crashing toward his victim. He screams for space. Time slows. A blue window flickers into existence. Reuter hunt detected. Overpower the drug user. Reward. 400 points. The system doesn't see a threat. It sees a payout. Mugyeol's eyes widen. Not in fear, but in predatory delight. The points are coming to him. Ibrahim swings a massive fist meant to shatter bone. Mugyeol washes it calm. He does not retreat. He does not flinch. He steps into the storm. Silence precedes destruction. The execution has begun. The fist meant to crush bone hits nothing but air. Mugyeol steps into the storm. A slip. A fraction of an inch. He doesn't run. He answers. A counter hook explodes against the giant's jaw. He uses the monster's own weight against him. Fanatic perfection. Gravity claims the Chechenian fighter. Ibrahim collapses to one knee. His eyes are wide. Not with pain. With shock. His reality just shattered. He touches his nose. Finds blood. He looks up at the smaller man. Bewildered. That didn't feel like a human fist. It felt like the swipe of a bear. Security floods this space. The execution is paused. Ibrahim screams. Humiliation burns hotter than the strike. His brain breaks. He clings to old biases. He calls it impossible. He calls Mugyeol a mutant. He cannot process the force he just absorbed. Mugyeol stares down at the kneeling giant. No trash talk. Only a cold promise. You want to die. Wait 3 weeks. This was only the prologue. The world catches fire. The clip goes viral. 1 minute. 57 seconds. The myth of weakness evaporates. The video is the proof. Behind the glass, Chairman Zhang watches the numbers climb. Pay-per-view sales shatter the ceiling. 72,000 buys. To the suits, Mugyeol is a golden goose. But in the dark of the jam, the protagonist prepares for the true hunt. He knows the nature of the beast. Ibrahim won't come as a man. He will come as a chemistry experiment. Steroids. The holy grail of cheaters. Unnatural muscle. Artificial rage. To survive the avalanche, Mugyeol opens the system. 500 points burn into the void. Jiu-jitsu rises to sea level. He is sharpening his tools for a monster. The night arrives. The arena lights gleam off the steel. Mugyeol enters. Sharp. Ready. Then comes Ibrahim. The difference is sickening. The steroids have done their work. He is swollen. But it is no longer a match between athletes. It is David facing a chaotically engineered Goliath. The system chimes. Mission. Time for the hunt. Reward. 1,000 points. The bell rings. Ibrahim charges. Sabulti is dead. It moves like a lamb, fight trying to bury Muddy under human ass. Mugyeol fights smart. He uses the cage. He circles. But the physical gap is a heavy burden. Even blocked kicks rattle his bones. The coach screams for movement. A stationary target is a dead target. Ibrahim's skin flushes crimson. His body is overheating. An engine running past the red line. The drugs fuel a rage that ignores defense. He swings to kill. Mugyeol sees the opening. He plants his feet. He fires. A clean counter straight to the jaw. Is a hit that would sever the consciousness of a normal man. Ibrahim smiles. He laughs through the impact. The chemicals in his blood have cut the wire between nerve and brain. Mugyeol lands a second counter. A thunderous blow. The giant's head snaps back, but he barely flinches. He walks through the fire. An unstoppable wall of meat and malice. Desperation breeds dirt. Mugyeol moves. Abraham reaches out. Fingers rake across the face. A thumb digs into the eye. Vision flares white. Blindsided. Seizing the moment, Abraham shoots for the legs. The takedown lands. The giant drags Mugyeol to the canvas. The weight is suffocating. Steroid-infused muscle pins him down. The fight hits the floor. The domain of the heavier man. Abraham rains down elbows. He turns the floor into a butcher's block. Mugyeol scrambles toward the cage. He claws at the mesh. He tries to stand. But the bombardment is relentless. His chin is tasted. The damage piles up. The hunter has become the prey. Aimed beneath a beast that refuses to feel pain. The elbow drops. A gravity hammer meant to crack the skull. But there is nothing there. Mugyeol shifts. The impact is wasted, grazing the mat. Abraham panics. He feels the control slipping like sand. He claws for the back, desperate to anchor himself to the torso. It's a sloppy transition. Mugyeol is faster. He kicks off the mesh. The weight is gone. He stands. The crowd screams, but inside the cage, the air has changed. The hierarchy has inverted. A hunter is now exposed. They reset. Abraham is gasping. Those unnatural muscles, built on chemicals, are now heavy chains. He is drowning in oxygen debt. He calculates his survival. Weather the storm. Catch the lake. Drag the fight back to the hell of the ground. Mugyeol gives him nothing but phantoms. A twitch of the shoulder. A shift in weight. Abraham flinches at empty air. His fear is steering the ship now. He guards high. He expects the straight punch. He expects the low kick. He is wrong. The leg snaps up. A strange, broken rhythm. The crescent moon. The Tuz bypass the guard entirely. They dig deep into the right side. Precision over power. The strike detonates in the liver. The body's electrical system fails. Abraham freezes. His brain screams move, but his nerves are dead silent. The agony cuts straight through the adrenaline. He is saved only by the bell. He stumbles to the corner. A trapped beast. His team begs him to stop. To live another day. Abraham snarls. He threatens to burn their lives down if they throw the towel. He chooses the ring. He chooses death over loss. Round 2. Abraham is a fortress of paranoia. Hands glued to his head. Waiting for the kick. Planning to catch it. But the finishing blow doesn't come. Mugyeol is picking him apart. Piece by piece. Methodical cruelty. He is holding back the knockout. Abraham can't breathe. He needs out. He clutches his face. Screams to the referee. I'd poke. A desperate lie. The slow motion reveals the truth. No finger. Just a coward buying seconds of air. Mugyeol watches him with cold disgust. The fight resumes. Abraham dives. A sloppy, telegraphed shoot for the legs. Mugyeol sprawls. He crushes the attempt like an insect. What was once terrifying is now just pathetic. Abraham tries to clinch. To lean. To simply exist until the end. His eyes roll back. The darkness is calling. It looks peaceful. A way out of the pain. Thrack. The sound echoes like a whip. Mugyeol has slapped him. The Stockton slap. It is not a strike meant to finish the fight. It is an insult. It is humiliation made physical. Abraham blinks. Stunned back to reality. He looks up. Mugyeol is smiling. The shadow over his face is absolute. He didn't slap the beast to knock him out. He slapped him to wake him up. The message is clear. You don't get the mercy of sleep. You have to be awake for what comes next. The shadow on Mugyeol Cha's face does not lift. Abraham stands before him. A mountain of muscle. A cocktail of chemical enhancement. But the cage feels small. The air tastes like fear. It is the primal recoil of a predator realizing it has stumbled into the den of something ancient. Abraham shouts to hide the terror. A heavy, desperate punch. It tears through empty air. Mugyeol is a phantom. He slips inside the guard. He doesn't fight the force. He redirects it. He flows around the bull. A cage of limbs. They hit the canvas. But only one man is driving. Mugyeol secures the top position. His weight is heavy. Suffocating. Abraham looks up. He sees a smile. It promises no mercy. Mugyeol asks a simple question. Are you trying to tap? But the giant cannot speak. He realizes the intent behind the pressure. This isn't a match for points. The man on top of him is trying to kill him. Ibrahim struggles, bucking his hips, trying to dislodge the demon. Mugyeol moves with fluid precision. A flying sweep. Spinning. He lands in knee-on belly. The shin digs into the diaphragm, crushing the lungs. A thumb hovers over Ibrahim's eye. Where is that arrogance now? Thanats. Only a terrified victim remains. The torture continues. Mugyeol spins again. He traps the arms. The crucifix position is locked in. Ibrahim is splayed out, defenseless. His face is open. The strikes begin. Short, sharp elbows. Hammer fists. They are not knockout blows. They are calculated, designed to break the will before they break the body. Ibrahim screams internally. He knows he is dying. The referee hesitates. He watches the spirit leave the Russian fighter's eyes. A reserve of hysterical strength kicks in. The drugs scream for survival. Ibrahim heaves. A clumsy slam lifts Mugyeol off the ground. But Mugyeol lands on his feet, light as a feather. He resets. He waits. Ibrahim pants. Blood drips. The limit has been reached. The steroids can only push a body so far before the mind collapses. Mugyeol steps in. A sluggish punch comes. Mugyeol wheezes. The counter is perfect violence. A hook to the liver crumbles the posture. A kick cracks the ribs. An uppercut snaps the head back. Ibrahim's eyes roll white. Consciousness severed. He falls backward, stiff as a board. The referee waves his arms. 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Total dismantling. Mugyeol stands over the fallen giant. No scream of triumph. No celebration. The crowd erupts, chanting his name. But he is listening to a different sound. He takes the microphone. No thanks to the sponsors. No love for the fans. He stares into the camera lens, directly at the men sitting in high offices far away. "You told me a title match is for those who are worthy." He looks down at the body. "Is this enough?" He drops the microphone. The message is delivered. In the corporate offices, the mood is grim. The medical reports come in. Ibrahim was a fraud. A walking chemistry set. 5 prohibited substances. A monster created specifically to destroy Mugyeol. And yet, Mugyeol destroyed the monster. The executives realized their mistake. They didn't contain him. They amplified the legend. Days later, the violence feels distant. Mugyeol sits at a low table. A modest home. A quiet meal with his father. The silence is heavy. His father speaks. You feel unfamiliar. The way he moves. The way he fights. The darkness he carries. A stranger in his son's skin. But the father doesn't reject it. He accepts the change, even if it scares him. Then, a piece of the past is revealed. The father speaks of the original professional fighter named Mugyeol Cha. The one before the paralysis. He knows who did it. It was Ibrahim's older brother. The father connects the dots. He believes this fight was revenge. He gently chides his son. Don't carry another man's burden. Fight for the sport, not for hate. Mugyeol listens. A small smile. He accepts the advice. But the consciousness within him knows the truth. Vengeance and ambition burn the same fuel. Elsewhere, the champion watches the footage. Hendagian. Arrogant. Dismissive. He is still beneath me. But he agrees to the match. He wants to crush the upstart himself. He promises to leave Mugyeol passed out on the canvas like a flattened frog. The gears of conflict turn. Back at the house, pieces fragile. Push-ups on the floor. Sweat dripping. The door bursts open. His father stands there. Face pale. Voice trembling. Jian-su is gone. Taken on the way back from the store. Men in black suits. Dragged away in broad daylight. Mugyeol stops. He stands up. The sweat cools instantly. The calm demeanor vanishes, replaced by a terrifying void. He asks where. His mind cycles through the enemies. Chairman Jiang. A rival faction. The name doesn't matter. The consequence is the same. He grabs a shirt. Muscles tense. No police. No panic. He speaks to the empty air. I will kill them all. The time for sport is over. The time for slaughter has begun. Panic is a useful instinct. It sharpens the senses. It floods the blood with adrenaline. But it also blinds a man to reality. Mugyeol tears through the night. The neon guts of the city blur into streaks of artificial light. He isn't running for exercise. He is hunting. His mind, conditioned by the constant threat of the chairman's dogs, assumes the worst. He believes the war has come to his doorstep. He imagines his brother in arms, Jin-soo, being dismantled piece by piece in a dark room. He finds the building. He hits the door like a battering ram. His voice rips from his throat, screaming for Jin-soo. He is ready to break bones. He is ready to kill. But the scene inside is not a slaughter. It is exhaustion. Jin-soo is on the floor, yes. But he isn't bleeding. He isn't broken. He is just catching his breath. The older man looks up, sweat dripping from a grin that speaks of effort, not pain. Mugyeol, still trapped in the momentum of his own panic, rushes to his side. He checks for a pulse. He screams for him to survive. It takes a moment for the red haze to clear. It takes a moment for the silence to register. This is not a torture chamber. It is a facility. Mugyeol stands. He looks around. Pristine mats. Iron plates. The scent of fresh rubber and ambition. It is a gym. But it isn't just any gym. Jin-soo stands next to the coach. They watch the realization dawn on the young fighter. The pay-per-view revenue. The prize money. 600 million won. A fortune that could have changed their lives. They could have bought cars. They could have erased debts. They could have bought comfort. But they didn't. Jin-soo smiles. He says they used the money exactly how they wanted. The coach steps forward, wearing a look of paternal pride that usually gets men killed in this world. He gestures to the fortress around them. The public gym was compromised. Eyes were everywhere. Politics infested the mats. They couldn't risk Mugyeol training among the sheep. So they built a cage for the tiger. A private ground where he can sharpen his claws in silence. Every single one was poured into this concrete box. Mugyeol stammers. He gave them that money to use freely. He wanted them to have it. Jin-soo laughs. They did use it freely. They invested in the monster standing before them. The coach reinforces it. He pledges his loyalty. In the fighting world, loyalty is a rare currency. Usually, it's counterfeit. But here, in this room, it feels solid. He teases the boy. He tells him to cry. Mugyeol turns away, hiding his face. The squeak of his sneakers on the new floor is his only thank you. The coach watches him. He allows himself to feel hope. He doesn't know that hope is merely the prelude to despair. The tour continues. But Mugyeol's eyes catch something out of place. Oh ref. A celebratory ribbon in the corner. The name on it is Saebjin Man, rank 8. Light heavyweight. A serious fighter. Jin-soo admits he consulted the veteran about the equipment. But he doesn't know why the man sent a ref. They aren't opening for business. This is a sanctuary. The door opens. The heavy atmosphere of a predator floods the room. Saebjin Man walks in. He wears sweatpants and a tight shirt that struggles to contain his mass. He greets them like he owns the space. Jin-soo is annoyed. He asks why the man is bothering them. Jin-man just grins. Mugyeol bows respectfully. He calls the man senior. Jin-man waves it off. He tells the boy to call him Hyun. He wraps a thick arm around Mugyeol's neck. He whispers a dark truth. He says Mugyeol won't be able to stay polite when they see each other inside the octagon. Mugyeol pauses. The octagon. Jin-man strips off his shirt. His back is a landscape of muscle and scar tissue. He didn't come here to jump rope. He declares himself the sparring partner. He climbs into the ring, leaning over the ropes. He promises light punches. Mugyeol looks up. A dangerous smile forms on his lips. He asks if the man will regret it. While the warriors prepare to test each other in the light, the darkness moves elsewhere. Silence reigns in a traditional tea room. Chairman Jang sits with his drink. Steam rises in thin, ghostly wisps. He speaks softly. He mentions a dog that has been barking too loudly. His subordinate pours the tea. He corrects the chairman. It isn't a dog. It's a puppy. The chairman sips. He asks if the man thinks he should shut that puppy's mouth. He claims the barking is ruining his sleep. It is a lie. Men like him sleep soundly regardless of the noise. It is simply a matter of control. He looks at his subordinate with a single, piercing eye. He asks if he can do it. An Dae-gyun smiles. His face is a mask of cruelty. He accepts the order. He promises to step on the puppy until it stops breathing. The execution is inevitable. Back in the gym, the sparring has ended. But the lesson has just begun. Mugyeol and Jin Man lie on the canvas, chests heaving. Sweat pools around them. It was a mass sparring session. Low intensity, high volume. Jin Man stares at the ceiling. He admits it internally. The boy's good. Weirdly good. His mastery, his endurance, it makes the veteran nervous. Mugyeol sits up. He has a question. A calculation of violence. He asks who is stronger. Seok Jin Man, or Hem Dae-gyun. Jin Man sits up. He takes the question seriously. He answers objectively. He says he isn't sure. He has the weight advantage. But if he had to fight him, he isn't confident. Mugyeol presses. Weight class is usually decisive. Jin Man corrects him. Han Dae-gyun has elite wrestling skills that erase the weight difference. He is a monster who cuts mass to bully smaller men. Mugyeol asks for the cold facts. What happens if they fight? Jin Man stands up. He delivers the verdict. Ain versus 1. If Jin Man tries 10 times, he will be beaten 9 times. The gap is immense. Mugyeol looks down. The odds are worse than he calculated. Jin Man sees the frustration. And because he is a fighter, he decides to exploit it. He suggests one more round. Mugyeol agrees. But he changes the parameters. He asks for boxing gloves. Jin Man is surprised. Mugyeol explains he has been training this discipline. He proposes 1 round. Boxing rules only. Jin Man laughs. He straps on the gloves. He thinks this is a retreat. He thinks the boy wants to avoid the grappling to save his pride. The coach watches from the side. He looks concerned. But not for Mugyeol. He asks Jin Man if he really plans to box with the kid now. Jin Man is confident. He claims he already knows the boy's level. The coach delivers a warning. He tells Jin Man that he is going to die. Jin Man laughs it off. He tells the old man to shut his mouth. He jokes that 1 hit might send the boy to the afterlife. The coach presses his hands together in a mock prayer. He says nothing more. Words are useless now. The lesson must be felt. Jin Man smirks. He thinks he is being entertained. He thinks this is a game between rivals. He is wrong. The 2 fighters stand in the ring. The bell rings in their minds. Jin Man looks at Mugyeol. He expects the same boy he sparred with moments ago. But as Mugyeol stands there, the atmosphere warps. An aura of heat and violence radiates from his body. The timid student is gone. The polite junior is gone. The eyes that look back at Jin Man are not human. They are the eyes of a slaughterer. He becomes someone else. The time for testing is over. The time for dominance has begun. Jin Man makes the mistake of the doomed. He waves away the headgear. He thinks he sees a student. A child. He doesn't see the veteran soul coiling beneath the skin. Mugyeol accepts the terms. He calmly promises to inflict internal damage. The threat is delivered without a single drop of emotion. The spar begins. Jin Man expects a brawling child. Instead, he steps into a cage with a phantom. Mugyeol weaves under a jab. Precise. Economic. Before Jin Man can retract his arm, a fist buries itself in his gut. Jin Man steps back. The speed doesn't make sense. He attempts to recalibrate, but the boy is already inside his guard. A feint. A connection. Jin Man realizes the truth cold in his veins. If that punch carried full intent, he would be a corpse. Mugyeol pauses. He looks down with cold disappointment. He demands reality. No more games. Jin Man apologizes. He prepares to fight for his life. But intent implies he ever had a choice. Mugyeol unleashes hell. High kick shatter blocks. The defense rots away. Jin Man admits the boy's skill has evolved beyond logic. Mugyeol declares he has none, even started. A straight punch pierces the guard. Darkness claims Jin Man. He wakes to the dim ceiling. The fight is over. Memory pieces together the moments of his destruction. The broken defense. The body shot. The counter. He looks at Mugyeol and sees a monster wearing a human face. But violence breeds respect. That night, the hierarchy shifts. Jin Man throws an arm around the boy. He insists on being called Hyung. They drink under the streetlights, bonding over the violence. Unaware that this camaraderie will soon demand a blood price. Days later. The atmosphere rots. Jin Man sits on his bag, looking diminished. A shadow looms over him. Han Dae-gyun. He mocks Jin Man's appearance. The disrespect is open. Hatred. Jin Man grabs his collar. He knows the truth. He knows who Dae-gyun sparred with. The game goes silent. Daegian sneers. He reminds Jin Man Heza has been. He slaps the hand away. The disrespect turns to violence. Jin Man removes his gloves. This is no longer sport. 1 week of silence. Mugyeol stands outside an apartment complex. The worry is palpable. He enters using the code Jin Man spilled while drunk. The sight stops him cold. Jin Man is not walking. He is dragging himself on crutches. His leg is encased in plaster. Mugyeol demands an answer. Jin Man tries to smile. He claims they are just athletes. But the excuse is thin. The truth bleeds out. Daegian didn't just spar. He used a heel hook. A joint lock designed to shred ligaments and shatter bone. A professional kill move in a practice match. Jin Man laughs about the settlement money. He tries to frame it as a transaction. But Mugyeol sees the reality. This was retribution. A message sent through broken bone. Jin Man jokes that he could still win on one leg. Mugyeol does not laugh. He stares at the ruin of his friend. Deep down, Jin Man knows the terrifying truth. He tried to fight back. He wanted to land just one punch. But the gap was absolute. Mugyeol leaves the apartment. Outside, the sun is dying. The polite exterior dissolves. A dark consciousness surfaces. Mugyeol speaks to the air. The older brother has been crippled. The debt is due. His eyes burn with a cold, violent promise. He will make it impossible for Daegian to ever walk again. The hunt has begun. The hunt has reached its final stage, and Mugyeol is standing on the precipice of the ultimate revenge. The collision between a natural monster and a chemical beast is about to begin, and you can catch the conclusion of the war in the next part. If you enjoyed this journey, please leave a like and subscribe to join us for more legendary recaps.